order the September 8th, 2025 meeting of the Charleston County Board of Zoning and Appeals, also known as the BZA. The board members that will hear your case tonight are as follows. My name is William Ray, and I happen to be the chairperson. To my right, we have Mr. Truslow, Mr. Brown, Mr. Serdell, and Mr. Neal. To my left, Mr. Nelson, Ms. Smith, and we have another Smith, should be coming shortly, and Mr. Jordan. Staff members present tonight are Ms. Brooks, Ms. Clark, Mr. Hare, Ms. Bachis, did I say that? Vache. Oh, I got to get that right. Third time. And Ms. Working. And to my immediate right, we have our attorney, Mr. Kevin Hughes. Because the hearing tonight is a fact-finding meeting and we are in compliance of the Freedom of Information Act and South Carolina Code 6-29-70, 15 days prior to the hearing, an announcement was posted and printed in the Post and Courier. A sign was posted on or near the designated property. A notice was mailed to the applicant or the applicant's representative, to the property owners within 300 feet of the property, and to parties of interest. Persons, organizations, and news media have also requested declaration of our meeting and have also been notified. Board members, the meeting notes of August 4th, 2025 of the public hearing were emailed to you. Are there any changes? If not, can I get a motion to approve and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so that was Mr. Jordan and seconded by Mr. Neal. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. It carried. The Board of Zoning Appeals is a quasi-judicial body that has final decision-making authority on the following: appeals of a zoning-related administrative decision. The BZA is authorized to hear and decide appeals only on zoning-related matters where it is alleged that there is an error in the order, requirement, decision, or determination made by the administrative official in the administration or the enforcement of any zoning-related regulation. A 2/3 vote of the quorum present is required to overturn the decision of the planning director in an appeal. Next, we have special exceptions. Special exception is issued by the BZA authorizing a particular use in a specified location within the zoning district upon demonstrating such a use complies with all the conditions, standards specified in the Zoning and Land Development Regulation Ordinance, also known as ZELDAR. The BZA must find a special exception meets all 6 of the approval criteria in the ordinance in order to grant a special exception. A simple majority is required to grant a special exception. And then finally, we have variances. A variance is a relaxation by the BZA's regulations ordinance where such an action will not be contrary to the public interest, where, owing to the condition particular to the property, and not a result of the actions or the situations of the applicant. A literal enforcement of this code will result in the unnecessary and undue hardship, and such a variance is consistent with Section 6-29-800 of the Code of the Law of South Carolina, Title 6, Chapter 29. The BZA must find a variance request meet all 7 of the approval criteria in the ordinance in order to grant a variance. A simple majority is required to grant a variance. Our purpose tonight is for interested parties to be heard in order to assist the board in gathering evidence pertinent to each case. If a board member if a member of the BZA finds the need for further information to clarify a case, the board has the authority to subpoena witnesses. It must be understood that the rules of your neighborhood or subdivisions are binding, and we can take no action that will neglect their jurisdiction over your property. In addition to your testimony, our board has been presented written information submitted by the staff, by the applicant or the applicant's agent for each case. This information is now considered evidence and is entered into the permanent record of this body. It is assumed that it is complete, true, and accurate. In addition, we have been presented data assembled by staff for the purpose of clarifying the location, the application's effect on surrounding properties. Our board is empowered to approve with conditions, or deny special exceptions or variance requests. We're also authorized to defer a case should there be a need to obtain additional information. The BZA's final decision will be mailed within 10 working days of this public hearing. It will also be mailed, certified mail to the applicant, and U.S. mail to the neighbors and community interests that are listed. If an applicant's request is approved, the applicant should contact the Charleston County Zoning and Planning Department staff to discuss the next steps in the process. Variances and special exceptions granted this evening are valid for 12 months after this meeting, and a 1-year extension may be granted only if construction or development has been commenced or is being diligently pursued. However, if an applicant's request is disapproved and the applicant wishes to appeal the decision of this board concerning the case, appeals must be addressed to the U.S. Circuit Court. South Carolina Code 6-29-820 states that an appeal must be filed by the applicant within 30 days after the decision of this board is mailed to them. Failure to file an appeal within that time limit deprives the court of the jurisdiction to hear a matter. Because this is a quasi-judicial body, everything in this meeting must be complete, true, and accurate. All the information provided by the BZA is considered evidence, and this board may certify contempt of circuit court if false statements are made either in writing or orally. Therefore, each person who wishes to address this board will be sworn in by the BZA secretary before providing testimony or evidence. In order to expedite this procedure, those wishing to speak to this body, I ask that you stand as a group, and Ms. Working will administer the oath.
Please raise your right hand, and I will say the oath, and you will say I do. I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Working. I will now call each case by case number. Staff will present facts that are pertinent to each case, limited to 5 minutes. I will then call the applicant. The applicant will stand, state his or her name and the current address for the record before presenting testimony pertinent to each case that will be limited to 5 minutes. I will then ask those who are speaking either in support or in opposition to the case. They will also follow the same procedure for identifying themselves and are limited to 2 minutes. The applicant will then have a chance to reply to any opposition, limited to 2 minutes. And then the BZA will make a motion to close the case to the public. Finally, the BZA will make a motion concerning the application, stating specific findings of facts and conclusion of law. Tonight, we ask for your patience. We have 10 cases, and we hopefully to work through them quickly and efficiently as we can. Ms. Working, we have our first case. And before I say this, you won't find us looking at the monitors behind us. We have monitors in front of us, and then also we have pads to help us, to help see exactly what's going forward. So without further ado, Ms. Working, okay. If you would help us with case BZA 07-25-00878.
Yes. The applicant and property owner, Parker Sharsmith of Coastal Pines Properties, LLC, is requesting a special exception to establish a short-term rental property, extended home rental, EHR, in the low-density residential R4 zoning district at 426 Riverland Drive, which is TMS number 343100027, on James Island in Charleston County. The subject property and surrounding properties are located in the low-density residential R4 zoning district. The property contains a single-family residence with 3 bedrooms that was constructed in 1945 per Charleston County records. The detached garage was converted to a 450 square foot accessory dwelling unit, ADU, in 2016. The applicant would like to rent 3 bedrooms in the single-family home and will provide 5 parking spaces pursuant to the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance parking requirements. The maximum number of guests allowed will be 7. The property is owner-occupied. The property has had limited home rental permits since May 2023 to present. LHR permits are limited to 72 rental days in aggregate per calendar year. If this request is approved, the maximum short-term rental days is capped at 144, including the days rented as an LHR. This is the zoning ordinance section pertaining to short-term rentals in the R4 zoning district. The 300-foot radius map, the aerial, zoomed out aerial. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. This is the subject property and the parking. And this is the adjacent property. If you remember, we did have a case months ago where they also are renting short-term rental, and we required this fence, so that's that fence. Riverland Drive, and then again the site plan. This is the tenant notice, and then the plat. Regarding the 3 approval criteria, staff stated that they may meet criteria 1 through 3. The board may approve with conditions, or deny the request based on the board's finding of fact unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board wishes to approve this application, staff recommends the following conditions. 1, prior to zoning permit approval, the applicant shall complete the STRP limited site plan review process. 2, the use shall comply with all requirements of Article 6.8. 3, this property shall not be used as a short-term rental for more than 144 days in aggregate during any calendar year. And 4, the property owner shall be responsible for ensuring that the tenants comply with the Charleston County noise ordinance. Any questions?
Does any board member have a question for staff? Thank you, Ms. Working. Is the applicant present? Uh-oh. Is the applicant present? All right, going one more time. Is the applicant present? Okay.
I have a question of staff.
Okay. All right.
Have y'all been in contact with this applicant? Are they late in traffic or something come up family-wise?
Let me look.
No contact at all?
I don't see anything, no.
Thank you.
Board members, I'm going to make an executive decision with your permission. How nice. Since the applicant is not here, we hadn't heard from him, and Mr. Jordan made that very clear. I'm going to push this application to the very end of the docket, so Ms. Working didn't have to read it, but it can still be heard, and then if they're not here, then we can move forward, and it'll just be pushed back another 90 days. Are we in agreement with that? Good. Any opposed? So moved. All right. Good. So our next case
Could that be here?
will be BZA 0725-00879.
Yes, the applicant and property owner, Lonnie Mueller of Porch View Properties LLC, is requesting a special exception to establish a short-term rental property, extended home rental, EHR, in the low-density residential R4 zoning district at 1876 Chilhowie Drive, TMS number 279-16-00050 on Johns Island in Charleston County. The subject property and surrounding properties are located in the low-density residential R4 zoning district. The property contains a single-family residence with 3 bedrooms that was constructed in 1964 per Charleston County records. The applicant would like to rent 3 bedrooms and will provide 5 parking spaces pursuant to the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development and Regulations Ordinance, ZELDAR, parking requirements. The maximum number of guests allowed will be 10. The property is not owner-occupied, therefore the property is not eligible for limited home rentals. This is the zoning ordinance requirements, the 300-foot radius map, aerial map. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. This shows the residence and the parking, adjacent properties, and the Chilhowie Drive. Site plan, tenant notice, plat. Regarding the three approval criteria, we stated that it may meet 1 through 3. We did have one public comment in opposition to this case. The board may approve approval conditions or deny the request based on the board's findings of fact unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board decides to approve the application, staff recommends the following conditions. 1, prior to zoning permit approval, the applicant shall complete the STRP limited site plan review process. 2, the use shall comply with all requirements of Article 6.8. 3, this property shall not be used as a short-term rental for more than 144 days in aggregate during any calendar year. And 4, the property owner shall be responsible for ensuring that tenants comply with the Charleston County noise ordinance.
All right, do we have any questions for staff? Thank you again. Yes, sir.
Question. I'm a little concerned about this application in that this is a 3-bedroom home, appears to be a modest size.
Turn your mic on, or
But-
put your mic.
But it has, there's a provision for 10 people to be in this at one time?
That's what they are requesting.
Does that meet the law?
Yeah, we don't have a limit.
So, I mean, if they want to have,
I'm sorry.
I'm not arguing, if they want to have
No.
15 people, 20 people, I'm just seeing the potential for a lot of problems with 10 people in a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah. It's a lot of people.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess we'll hear from the applicant.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Jordan?
But as a follow-up question, how many beds are we talking about in that setup that's allowable?
I don't know how many beds are in each room. That could be a question for the applicant.
Okay.
Good question, gentlemen. Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Workman. Is the applicant present? Please come forward to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record. And please tell us why we should approve your application. You've already got 2 questions thrown at you. So you can start there, but whatever summary you like, you have time. Yes, sir.
Lonnie Mueller. I live at 3322 Porchview Place on Johns Island.
Thank you, sir.
We're approximately about 3 to 5 minutes away from the property in question here for permitting. To address Mr. Truslow's question about 10, we have 6 beds that we're planning. So we have out of the 3 bedrooms, one of them is going to be bunk beds. So we would have 2 queens and 2 twins, very similar to the other Airbnb and locations that we've seen where they can host more people. And then we would have 2 king-size beds in the others. So up to 10, we thought that might be accommodating for what we want with the property, which is really to attract families, couples, people with young kids to be able to stay. We thought that would be the maximum, but don't anticipate 10 all that often.
And how many parking places?
We do have 5.
5. Thank you.
Any other board member have a question? Yes, go ahead, Mr. Sedell.
Mr. Muir, thank you for your comments. Have you spoken to the neighbors on either side of you and across from you about your intention to have a short-term rental?
We have a very friendly neighborhood, so I've spoken to them almost every day. Specifically, a couple directly across from us, he landscapes, so we've actually hired him to actually landscape our house for us to make sure that the grass is mowed. The neighbors next to us are renters as well, and then there's been 3 or 4 other, just happens to be elderly gentlemen that have walked by, and we've made contact with them. Very clear on, with the sign out, there's lots of questions and concerns, so we've made ourselves available at the property as we've been cleaning up and trying to get it ready for them to be aware of what's going on.
You mentioned that you live 5 minutes away yourself. Will you be the person who will respond in case there's a problem or complaint about people that are renting from you?
That's our plan right now. I'm a residential builder, licensed residential builder, so we can pretty much handle anything that comes up specifically, but I also have a portfolio of other contractors that we have. So we feel like it would be the extra touch of service to be able to be so close and to be able to help as people rent. Okay. Since we're going to be approving all the people that come, we just want to try to provide a good experience to those folks and take care of them.
Using a management company, you're going to manage the property yourself?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Yeah. You know,
And what services are you using to advertise? Are you using Airbnb, or what are you using?
our plan is to do Airbnb at
see.
this time.
Okay. And would you be willing to give your neighbors on either side and across the street your telephone number so that if there was any problem they witnessed, that they could contact you directly about?
They already have it, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that as we've been, cleaning up the property and also about this, to be very open about it. We want it to be a community where if there is a problem, we can respond right away.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Neal?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just a couple quick questions. Mr. Working, it might be helpful if we could pull up the plat that has all of the lots in that neighborhood. I don't know. It can be either that one is fine, or the county one. Do we know which one is 1885, which is the lot that was referenced in the comments that were saying basically that 1885 was a
Party house.
bad example of a property? And while she's looking for that, I'm going to ask you, do you know where 1885 is, and are you aware of that property being used as an Airbnb short-term rental and any issues? And have you had a chance to talk with this lady that took time to write down an opposition letter?
Yeah, I didn't talk to her. I really wasn't quite sure the appropriate way to
Sure.
do that, to knock on her door and just
No,
say,
I understand.
hey.
But you know Miss Busey, or whatever, Barbara Busey is her name, I believe?
Yeah, I don't know her, and I didn't go up to 1885 either. I know that sometimes short-term rentals can get a bad rap as party houses.
Right.
This house is I can tell you, I can give you all the assurances. We don't want parties at this house. We like the neighborhood to be quiet. We plan to just really fill the need, we feel like, with families and people that have come to us and say, we'd really like to stay with family, have events.
No,
weddings,
I
et cetera.
understand. My question was, do you know which property is 1885 based on this plat?
I don't.
You don't? Okay, so
No,
we'll
sir.
find that out. And then my follow-up to that is on noise regulations. Do you have a way of monitoring noise, or since you're going to be the property manager for the property, handling that so that you don't have to hear about it? What happens if you go out of town? Is there somebody else that's going to handle the property for you? So it's really noise that is one of the things I focus on these approvals. So how would you handle noise violations, especially if you're looking at 10 people in a 3-bedroom house?
Correct. Yeah. I certainly, we are close with our own neighbors who would do that, but I also have 2 adult children in town here.
Put them to work.
And put them to work on it whenever we are potentially out of town.
All right, maybe I'll suggest then, because we can't require it, but I would suggest that you look into the monitoring of the noise.
Yeah.
There's some devices I'm sure staff or somebody could help you with, because that's one of the things we want to make sure is that we don't impact the surrounding neighborhood.
Yeah, happy to look into that,
All right.
for sure.
Mr. Chair, I'll save my questions for staff on the follow-up on that.
Very good.
Thank you.
You got a question? Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
can answer if you want me to answer now.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and
Okay.
answer now. Get to you,
It's
Jordan.
parcel 83,
Which one?
kind of across, like diagonal.
Yeah, so about 2 doors
They do-
down and across.
And they do not have a permit, so they will be getting a notice of violation letter.
Thank
They do not have a
our,
permit.
our person. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Jordan?
They're on the list.
Will your neighbor have your grown kids' phone number so they can call them at 3 a.m.?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll make sure of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice couple. They've met my son already, who's 24. So,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming here, and appreciate your application, your presentation. I'm still having some difficulty getting my mind around a 3-bedroom house. It's on a septic tank, is it not?
it is.
And you're going to have 10 people in a relatively small lot, and I'm concerned about the septic tank and 10 people in with this. Tell me about your septic tank. What size is it? How's it going to accommodate 10 people?
Yeah, it was put in new in 2024. Was put in new. So they had just done it before we bought this property. We had bought this property in June. There's also a 66-gallon water tank at the property to be able to handle for showers, because we understand from a hot water perspective. So, yeah, I understand your concern about the 10. In my mind is just thinking maybe we should have just said 8. And I'd be willing to accommodate that if we feel like that's better. But we were trying to reach the 10 more or less for children perspective. We were thinking.
Okay. What size is a septic tank?
I don't know. I could find out about that, but I don't remember that in any of the diagrams. Yeah.
Do I understand that you are now saying that you are seeking the application for 8 versus 10, or are you standing with the 10?
No, I think what I'm looking for is approval for the permit, because we want to move forward. And if the objection is that you all feel like 10, based upon this property, is exorbitant, then I would be willing to go with 8 in order to make sure that we passed. But I just want to work with you all.
I have a follow-up, Mr. Chair, when you get a chance.
Are you finished? Mr.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Working, sorry to put you to work, so much more work here. Can you pull to the properties if you have any pictures? Because all I saw was his site plan, and my fellow commissioner is asking a wonderful question about 10 people versus 8 people, and how many cars. And if it's 10 people, is it 5 cars, or is it just based on the bedrooms?
No, it's based on the bedrooms.
Right.
So you have your 2 that's required for all single families.
Plus one for each
per
bedroom.
room.
So we got to have 5 cars. So I'm just trying to understand. There we go. That's a great picture. So we're just going to park cars all over the yard here. We park them through the back. Can you explain a little bit better?
Yeah,
You might want to go back and forth between his site plan and this picture, but I was trying to understand
Sure.
where were you going to park 5 cars, because your site plan didn't really show it very well other than off to the right.
Yeah, apologies for that. There's one in the carport, one, and then there's 2 directly behind that, and then you could put another 2 in that driveway.
Parked in the
Not at
yard
all.
like they are here.
No, we just happened to be in the yard in the shade this day that the picture was taken. So it can accommodate certainly cars in the yard, but that's not our plan. Is to have designated 5 parking spaces on asphalt.
You have to have the 5, as Ms. Working said, because of whether you have 8 people or 10 people, you've got to have the 5. 2
Understood.
plus the 3 for the bed. There you go. So the cars that you've got parked here, numbers 1, 2, 4, 3, and 5. Those would all be in the driveway because the shed is underneath the one underneath the house.
Correct.
And then
in the
4 all on
carport.
the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't orient it. I'm fine there, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else on that side? Anyone on my left? Thank you so very much for your testimony today. We do appreciate the information. Thank you.
Sure.
Do we have anyone else to speak in favor of this application? Do we have anyone to speak in favor of this application? Do we have anyone to speak in opposition? Do we have anyone to speak in opposition of this case? Very good. Thank you. This case is closed to the public. Board members, do we have any additional questions for staff? Do we have general comments? Any discussion among one another? All right. If not, then I need a motion to approve or deny this case. Anybody? Yes, sir.
Mr.
Chairman.
Turn your mic on.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this application for extended home rental. I find that it meets all of the criteria for this type of variance. It's compatible with existing uses in the vicinity and will not affect the general welfare of the character of the community. We have heard testimony that the applicant has had conversations with neighbors on either side and across the street, and that he will provide them with telephone numbers in case there's any problem with the rental. They also, in their application, said that they had made provisions for trash and so for noise. Adequate provision, so therefore adequate provision has been made to protect the adjacent properties, and that the application complies with all rules, regulations, laws, and standards ordinance. I do make an amendment to the application as per our discussion to limit the number of applicants to 8 instead of 10 as the application. And also to include the 4 conditions of the staff, the recommendations.
Second.
All right, we have a motion that has been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All right, Mr. Neal?
Just one clarification. That would actually be a 5th special condition, right, that is limited to 8 people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for the
Nelson.
clarification.
Mr. Nelson.
That's Mr. Nelson. It is absolutely correct. So we're going to move it from 10 to 8. Am I hearing that correct? Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Sir, congratulations. Your application has been approved with minor changes. Within 10 days, you'll be getting information from our staff letting you know the next steps in the process. Once again, congratulations and good night, sir.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Are we free to go?
Yes, that's what I said. Yes, sir. Good night.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir. Very good. So our next case tonight is case BZA 07-25-007, 00879. No, 0880. Yes.
All right. The applicant and property owner, Fred Lamar Rouse, represented by Wanda Brown of Hunter Quinn Homes, are requesting a variance to reduce the required 3-foot interior side setback by 1.3 feet to 1.7 feet for an existing unpermitted detached accessory structure shed, and to remove a 26-inch DBH grand red oak tree for a proposed single-family residence at 1594 Joe Rouse Road, which is TMS number 583-00000016 in the east area of Charleston County. The subject property and adjacent properties to the north, south, and east are located in the Special Management S3 zoning district. The adjacent property to the south is located in the Planned Development Rutledge Tomb site, PD 189 zoning district. The property and surrounding properties were designated as the Phillips Community Historic District on August 24th, 2021. The 0.5-acre property contains 2 unpermitted detached accessory structures, a 10.1 foot by 12.2 foot shed, and a 12.2 foot by 11.9 foot shed. The 10 by 12 shed is located within the required 3-foot interior side setback. The applicant is requesting to remove the 26-inch DBH red oak tree, which is a grade A, to construct a single-family residence. This is the zoning ordinance requirement for, I cannot speak. The zoning ordinance requirements for the 3-foot setback for detached accessory structures. The tree ordinance section. This is the 300-foot radius map. The aerial map, zoomed in. And then this is the flood zone map course, the colors are not showing up right, but the color that looks kind of purple on your screen is like is AE8 flood zone, and then the whitish color is shaded X. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. This is a picture of the shed, pictures of the oak tree, the subject property and adjacent property, and Joe Rouse Road and Highway 41. This is the site plan showing the proposed home, the plot. Regarding the approval criteria, we stated that it may meet 1 through 4 and 7. It meets 5, and it may not meet 6. The board may approve of conditions, or deny the request based on the BZA's findings of fact unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board decides to approve the application, the board should consider the following conditions recommended by staff. 1, the applicant shall mitigate the removal of the 26 inches by either A, submitting a mitigation plan for review and approval indicating the installation of cannabis trees no smaller than 2.5 inches in caliper, equaling inch per inch replacement. B, by depositing funds in the Charleston County Tree Fund as described in section 926 of ZELDAR, or C, a combination of both A and B. The allotted mitigation shall be in place prior to its removal. 2, the applicant property owner shall obtain all required zoning and building permits for the unpermitted detached accessory structures sheds. That includes. Any questions?
All right, any questions? I'm sorry, I'm working over here.
Just want
All right, Mr. Brown, go ahead.
Just want some clarification. So there's 2 sheds. One meets the setback requirements, correct? But both sheds are staying. There's not one being removed. It's
Correct.
2 sheds, but one meets requirements. So it's the one that's in this picture, the lower one there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mr. Neal?
So, yeah, I'm similar thought pattern here as my colleague. The 2 sheds are staying. Why are we losing the tree? What's impacting the tree? Or are we trying to? I saw something about flood plan. Are we trying to build something on the back lot, the back portion of the lot, or I don't
So
really.
it's.
Obviously, these are existing and unpermitted, so trying to get by. But
They're proposing to build a single-family home.
one more time.
Single-family
But
house,
it's already.
and the tree is right there.
The tree is where?
It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in.
Oh, this is proposed. So just the sheds
that
are on the
better?
property.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the 2 sheds are here, and then this is the layout,
Oh,
and then
okay.
the tree.
Wow. Okay. I'll save my questions for the applicant. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anyone? Ms. Smith?
Are there any other protected trees on the property?
No, there are no other grand trees.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Working. Is the applicant present? Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please tell us why we should approve your application.
Fred Lamar Rouse, 1594 Joe Rouse Road. I purchased the property. Well, first, I grew up in the area right next door to where I purchased the property from a close relative a few years back. And I just wanted to return home next to my parents. And we found that this grand oak was pretty much seated in the center of the property where a residence would be, well, a home. So that's why I'm here to try to get permit to have the tree removed.
Would you speak up just a little bit louder, Mr.
Sorry.
Rouse?
I just wanted to get permit to get the tree removed because it's sitting right in the middle of the lot where the proposed home would be.
Okay. Is this new home for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to tell us?
As far as the sheds, the plat that is provided by
Staff?
it was done by the owner who sold it to me. And apparently I spoke to my father, which is here present right now. He said that plat has been distorted in some sort. The property lines have been shifted at the rear of the property, so that what makes the two sheds look like it appears on my property.
What's in the sheds, Mr. Rouse?
Oh, they just store household stuff like lawn stuff.
Can they be moved, Mr. Rouse?
No, they cannot.
So they're anchored in the ground. They're built. This way, Mr. Rouse. It's your turn.
Oh, well.
So tell us about the sheds and how they're constructed. Do you have any idea, or that's something your father would have to answer?
That's something he would have to answer because
Okay.
he had those sheds built.
Okay.
Because, like I said, the property line is actually should be behind those sheds, which would have the sheds on his property. Later on down the line, I plan on getting that corrected, but as far as right now, we just need permission to have those sheds there, at least for now.
How are you going to move it? How are you going to correct that, Mr. Rouse?
We're going to have it resurveyed.
You're going to have it resurveyed, and he's going to grant you that property where the sheds are, basically?
No, actually, once it's resurveyed the correct way, the property line would be behind the sheds, which would separate his property from mine, with the sheds being on his property.
So I'm going to be the devil here on this. What if the survey is correct?
It's not.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see if any other board member have a question for you. I'm going to start on my, go ahead. Mr. Neal.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair.
And then we'll come back up, okay?
Mr. Rouse, thank you. So I'm trying to understand, can we not put the house further back on the lot? I mean, you've got a really deep lot here, it looks like.
The issue is that the flood zone, and they have to build up the property to put the house on, and any further back would just not be able to do that. It would be too much.
So the flood zone goes through the back half of the property?
Yes, I think she showed you a slide earlier, shows you where the flood zone is.
Yeah, I got you. And you don't want to save that tree, and you don't want to.
I would love to, but I would love to live there instead.
Especially having your parents next door to you, that's very admirable. So I'm just trying to see if there's if we've explored all the other opportunities.
We've tried to move the house in different directions, and nothing else works.
All right, that's a good answer. Thank you, Mr. Rouse. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Mr. Rouse, let me ask you a question because I'm going to get back to my other board member. What's the square footage of this new proposed house you're building?
It's 2,800, 2 stories.
Okay. So the footprint's going to be what? Half of that or?
I don't know exactly what the
So about 14 footprint? Would that be about right? That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Let me go down here a little bit further. Mr. Sedell, you had a question, sir.
I think Mr. Rouse already answered my question, but have you explored other designs, house designs, that would allow you to save the tree?
Yes, sir.
And it doesn't meet your square footage needs, or why did those designs not work out?
Where the tree is at, it would be in the way no matter what.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Truslow? I saw another hand.
All right.
Did you have a question?
I was going to ask about if we agree with your request, you understand that we have in this county a tree mitigation program, and you're fine with if the tree's cut, replacing it with a lot more trees. Is that correct?
If that's something that I could do, I would. I'm not sure what the cost would be or if I would be able to afford it.
That's not his determination. That's ours.
All right.
So, yeah. Any other questions? Any other questions on my left? Mr. Jordan?
Did the staff explore that with him? Tell him how much that would cost?
No, we have not yet. Sally, do you have an estimate of how much that would be for that size
He'd
tree?
probably like to know.
For like a replacement?
He says he's willing to do it if he can afford it. Can y'all just tell him what he's looking at to do it?
I'm sorry, for replacing or relocating?
Replacing.
Anywhere from
how big is the tree again? Let's see,
26.
26.
6, 2.5 inch.
Per caliber.
I think he's due to know.
Yeah.
But mitigation is mitigation. It's whether we pass it or not is
Yeah,
up to
like-
him to whether he does the project or not. I mean, he's asking for us to do it.
You know, mitigation can, inch per inch, can range on average anywhere between $250 to $500 a tree, potentially. For
Per inch.
yeah, so when you replace tree, the inch per inch mitigation, you plant like say 3-inch trees, multiple 3-inch trees. So in this case, that would be like 9 3-inch trees on site to equal that inch per inch to add up to 26 inches worth.
So do you understand
So-
that? You understand that, sir?
Yeah, I think that's around.
Yeah, so I mean that could be, you know, $2,500 to $5,000 or so, you know, as an inch per inch mitigation for that. I mean, those trees are, you know, you can't buy a tree that's 26 inches. It takes a long time to. It's a resource that is, you know, there's value to that. So that's how we calculate that. It's based on the current market value for, you know, a certain size tree replanted, multiplied out, you know, to equal that inch per inch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have any questions of this board?
No, sir.
Okay. Board members, do we have any other questions for this applicant?
No, I just wanted the gentleman to be aware. It seemed it was only fair for him to know if the tree is cut down, there's often a provision or expected to be a provision to replace the tree with other trees, and it seemed only fair to let you know that it was what I would consider a significant cost associated with it when you consider options.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, sir. Do we have anyone else to speak in favor of this application? Do we have anyone else to speak in favor of this? Okay. Please come. Have you been sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record, and please tell us why we should approve this application.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anna Allen. I live at 3607 Colonel Vanderhorst Circle in Mount Pleasant. I've lived off of Highway 41 for 20 years. I think this would be a great attribute to our neighborhood and our community. I also work for the builder, and I am helping Ms. Lanier and Mr. Lamar. I've met them over a year ago. I'm very familiar with our plans. We did look at a lot of homes, and because of the setbacks and where that tree is in its setback, virtually any plan would require that tree to come down to build a home in an X flood zone, which is the most affordable place to build a home. We have already allocated some money in the building fund to cover the expense of mitigating that tree. The sheds belong to his father, and early on, Mr. Fred Lamar showed me his historical, dated 1980 surveys that do show those sheds on his property. It was from a stamped survey, and the lines were drawn differently than what we see today. And I'm not a surveyor, and we're not here to contest that, but we are asking that you allow those sheds to we'll help them get them permitted and let them stay where they are and not hold up the process of building this home for them, because we have been working with them for a year. So we would appreciate the approval and the support.
Very good. Do we have any questions? Thank you so very much for your testimony. Do we have anyone else to speak in favor of this application? Yes, sir. Oh, sir, I'm sorry. Let me address him first, and then we'll get to you. Thank you. Please pull that mic down and state your name and address for the record. There you go. It bended quite well for you.
My name is Fred Rouse. I'm Lamar's father. And that those shades
And your
they're
address,
talking
Mr.
about as far as and the property
Your
line.
address, Mr. Rouse?
Oh, 1590 Joe Rouse Road. I'm sorry. I'm at 1590 Joe Rouse Road.
Thank you,
in Mount
Mr.
Pleasant.
Rouse.
Now, those shade is actually on my property. When that had that land surveyed in 1985, I built that shed about 5 years later. And that one shed was sitting there from that time till now. And the second one I just built about maybe 5 years ago. And they're a little, this one is a little bit in beyond the old one. If she is a site plan or map she got up there, I can show you how they got the lines from the survey lines. It seemed that when they surveyed the property, they did it on a 90-degree angle, and the highway runs on an angle, and all the property comes from the marsh across the road, straight across to the canal behind me on one line. Each lot is on one line. But when they did the survey for his property, they shifted like a 90-degree angle from the road instead of, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's how they got this thing all messed up. So me and my son, he see, leave it alone until he get everything else situated, and we'll have it resurveyed and try to get these lines straightened out.
Okay. Let's see if anyone have a question over here for you, Mr. Neal.
Two quick ones. Is your son going to be a good neighbor for you?
Yes, sir.
And the second one is, who is Joe Rouse in relation to you, sir?
My grandfather.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Anyone else on that side with a question? What a burning desire. Anyone on my left? Thank you, Mr. Rouse.
Thank you
for your testimony. The gentleman in the yellow shirt, you had a comment you wanted to tell this boy. You need to come up here to the podium, sir. If you would, please state your name and address for the record, sir.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, excuse me. Did you get sworn in?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. So at this time,
I do. My name is Jonathan Ford. I live at 2906 Canyon Lane. One of the problems with the Phillip community is that in the 1940s, Highway 41 actually split the majority of the property that's in the community. And so some of the properties had plats that were never recorded. So that's why some of the lines are different and some of the lines are off. But in this young man's case, this is one of the things that we've been fighting for forever. Someone that's young, wants to come back to the community, wants to build a house and be productive. And I think that should be taken into consideration, that you've got a young man that's trying to do something, that's trying to go forward. Our families has been in this community since the 1800s, 1875, 1878, and that's the thing that we fight for every day to keep, because property is basically only thing that some people have to pass on from one generation to another. And so I think that $2,000 or a grand tree should not be an issue to keep a young man from going forward, because you can cut the tree down and use it for firewood. We can give it to some of the older people in the community that uses firewood. I think that should not be a consideration to keep this young man from going forward. Thank you.
so let's see if anyone has a question for you. Anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Thank you so very much for your testimony. So I see another hand come up. Okay. Please come to the podium, sir. Have you been sworn in, sir?
No, sir.
Okay.
Why don't you ask? Why don't you ask
Oh,
the whole room?
okay, let me ask this before Ms. Worker starts. Is there anyone in the audience that has not taken the oath that would want to speak to this board tonight? Anyone? If you do, please stand at this time and she can administer the oath one time. Thank you. Oh.
I do.
Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record and tell us why.
Good evening. I am Fred Smalls. I live at 2959 Elijah Smalls Road. That's in the Phillips community, right down the street from the Rouses. Our community, we fully support Mr. Rouse and what he's trying to do. One of the reasons is that this is a prime example of why we've been fighting so hard to maintain our community and the status that it's in, so that our young people, when they return home, they can come home and build. And that's why we're trying to keep our property the way it is. When I returned, after I retired from the military and returned home, and I wanted to build my home, I went through basically the same problems with the surveys, because all the surveys in our community are very old. And to get the property lines readjusted or the plat straight, this is something we had to go through. So this is not an isolated case with what Mr. Ross is going through with that survey. But we're asking that you all please support Mr. Ross and approve this. Thank you very much.
All right, let's see if anyone has a question for you, sir. Sir, if you would return back to the podium. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
All right. Anybody? Mr. Jordan has a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for serving our country.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Anyone on my right? Thank you so very much for your testimony today, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do we have anyone else that would say anything different? Okay, that would like to speak. All right.
My name is Beverly Rouse, 1590 Joe Rouse Road. This is my son Lamar Rouse and my daughter-in-law Lanier, my husband Fred, and my husband and I. We do have a copy of the original plat that we had that surveyed in 1985, and when the surveyors came to do the survey, we told them that they were doing it wrong, but they did not listen. So we do have our original before they changed it a few years ago. Just wanted to let y'all know that. So we're going to have it back to normal after you all approve my son. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, one moment, Ms.
question.
Rouse. That's okay. That's okay. I know you prayed about it. Any questions on any board member on my left has a question? Anyone on my right? Thank you so very much for your
You're
testimony. All right. Do we have anybody else to speak in favor? Do we have anyone to speak in opposition of this case? Do we have anyone to speak in opposition? Very good. This case is closed to the public. Board members, do we have any additional questions for staff? You do? Do we have any general discussion?
I do.
All right, Mr. Jordan, you got to.
Well, I figured y'all expect I'd be jumping up and down by that tree. And normally I would. I'm just sitting here reflecting what y'all said. I can identify. Y'all have heard me talk about my grandfather's farmhouse, which he built in the 20s and he lived into. He died, and then when he died, he was sold and got out the family, and I bought it back. What I think I should have inherited, and just like y'all, almost, the little dirt road that was in front of the house, it's now partially paved, is named after my grandfather. So I feel very much for that. I really do. And I've heard about the Phillips community, all the struggles, and I just think, and I hope, that if somehow we can help this family if we can. I just think it's very important.
So you want to make a motion, Mr. Jordan?
No, sir.
Good try, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, any other general discussion, comments? Go ahead, Mr. Nelson.
All right, Mr. Chair, thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we approve item BZA 0725000880, the variance to request and reduce the required three-foot interior side setback and to allow the removal of the 26-inch DBH grand red oak tree. I've heard testimony, positive testimony, and I believe it meets all 7 criteria. I believe criteria number 1, there are extraordinary exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. We have seen testimony about the flood zone on the rear property, and we actually heard testimony from the building company that this is basically the only place that they can build a house so they can live next to their parents. Item number 2, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. We've heard testimony from neighbors that say that that's what they want in this community, so there you go. It meets that criteria. Number 3, because of these conditions, the application of this ordinance to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of this property. We heard the applicant himself say that he couldn't build the house of 2,800 square foot, which is a very modest house for that community as well, without it. So I don't see a problem with the setback of the shed or the removal of the grade A tree. Item number 4. The authorization of a variance will not be a substantial detriment to the adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the zoning district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. The absolute immediate neighbor is his parents, and they are willing to allow their son to live next door to them. And we've heard testimony from the other community as well that are in full support of this. Now, item number 5, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall not grant a variance, the effect of which would allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in this zoning district is a residential house. No issues whatsoever here. Number 6, the need for the variance is not the result of the applicant's own actions. That tree's been here a lot longer than that young man who's trying to build a house there, so I don't see how this could be his own actions. And number 7, granting of the variance does not substantially conflict with the comprehensive plan or the purposes of this ordinance. And that's exactly what the Phillips community is trying to do, is bring their young people back to their community and help establish that community. So I would include all of staff comments in this motion, and I hope it approves.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion that's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I have one comment. I realize we have a tree ordinance. It pains me that the applicant will be required to have to mitigate, but we've got to comply with the law. My hope would be that he would be granted some grace and some leniency, because his intent is laudatory to build a home, a needed home in the community. So that would be my comment. I hope there'll be some opportunity for some leniency regarding the cost.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye. Any opposed? It was unanimous. Very good. Mr. Rouse, your application has been approved. Within 10 business days, you'll be getting information from our staff letting you know the next steps in the process. Once again, congratulations, and we bid you good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Our next case tonight is case BZA 07-25-00881.
All right. The applicant, Matt McCauley of Permit Expeditors of South Carolina, LLC, on behalf of the property owner, William H. Branham III, trustee of Family Trust, is requesting a variance to reduce the required 50-foot critical line setback by 14.6 feet to 35.4 feet for a proposed swimming pool and deck, and to reduce the required 35-foot critical line buffer by 6 feet to 29 feet for a proposed fence at 1478 West Deep Creek Overlook, which is TMS number 617-14-00063 in the east area of Charleston County. The subject property and adjacent properties are located in the rural residential RR zoning district in Phase 2 of the Paradise Island subdivision that was platted in 2004. Charleston County adopted required setbacks and buffers from the critical line in 2001. The subject property contains 0.69 acres of highland. A single-family residence is currently being constructed on the property. A zoning permit for the home was obtained in June 2024. This is the ordinance requirement for critical line setbacks and buffers. The 300-foot radius map, aerial photo. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. Some photographs of the rear of the property, where the pool location. A survey of the property, and this is the site plan. I can see if I can zoom in. There we go. And then the plat. Regarding the approval criteria, staff stated that it may meet 1, 2, 4, and 6. Does not meet 3, may meet 6, and meets 5. The board may approve of conditions or deny the request based on the BZA's findings of fact unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board decides to approve the application, the board should consider the following conditions recommended by staff. 1, prior to commencing construction, silt fencing shall be installed along the critical line. The silt fencing shall be maintained for the duration of the construction. 2, the applicant shall use stormwater mitigation measures such as the use of rain barrels or rain gardens to reduce the flow of stormwater into the marsh. 3, the encroachment areas shall be limited to the footprint areas shown on the submitted site plan. Any questions?
Any questions? Mr. Neal.
Mr. Chair. Ms. Working, can you go to the site plan? I'm just having problems with the math here and the actual marshland.
Trying.
So it looks like they're, in the application, it says they're going to reduce the 50-foot critical line setback by 14 feet. And you're drawing there, so the 50 feet, the marsh is way back there where it says Newfield located critical line, so that's really where the marsh is? Is that correct?
Trying to see.
See the arrow connecting the 50 feet?
Yeah.
So the pool's
This
going...
is the critical line right here.
I can't see behind me. Yeah, so that's the critical line.
Yeah.
So then the other line is the setback line, the 50 foot. So they're going to encroach into that by 14. So basically a third of that, maybe 25% of that is going to go away for the pool.
Right.
And then the deck is going, what's the additional one? The 30, reduce the required critical line buffer, which is 35 feet. They're going into that too. Can you just explain the two buffers?
So it's the fence, and I don't know if I can get this right. That's going into the buffer. It's hard for me to see too. But the deck is meets the setback.
The fence is going into the buffer.
I can't really see it on this, but
The fence we can move. A pool's going to be hard to move.
I can, but it's hard to point out.
And I mean, maybe this is for the applicant when they come up, but I'm just trying to understand.
I'm pretty sure it's a straight line here. Just hard to see in the copy.
Yeah.
Looks like line with X's.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe we'll decide, we'll save that for the applicant. So, all right, you answered my question, Ms. Working. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else on my right? My left? Yes, sir. Mr. Nelson.
Mrs. Working, you can confirm, I'm pretty sure, that the original subdivision that occurred, the rear property line was the critical line at the time of
That's
the
right.
subdivision, correct?
Yes.
And so what we've seen is that line expire and a new line be flagged, which is causing the need for a variance now.
Right.
And the county no longer allows subdivisions to occur along critical line boundaries, do they?
There's a lot of rules to do. Yeah, they do, but you have to have a pretty wide area.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Working. Is the applicant present? All right. Okay. Please come forward. Please state your name and address for the record, and please tell us why we should approve your application, sir.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Matt McCauley. My address is 171 Church Street, Suite 340, Charleston, South Carolina, 29401. We're here today requesting the variances that were outlined by staff. They're unfortunate but necessary, kind of mostly dictated by the configuration of our lot, the way that our side lot lines particularly do not meet the street at anywhere near 90-degree angles, as well as the relocation of the critical line at the time we were required to have it recertified. As was mentioned previously, the jagged line that's shown on the rear of our plat or on the site plan was the critical line certified at the time the phase of the subdivision was platted in 2003. Obviously, you'll see particularly looking from the road on the left-hand side of the property, there's the critical line has moved in quite some ways. In this particular case, we did not have a strict minimum square footage of home to be built, but nonetheless required to build a home that's consistent with the homes that are in the development in order to garner approval for that. I think largely, again, the relocated critical line as well as the unusual shape of the property create the need for the variances that we're requesting. We have taken a good look at opportunities to relocate the pool left to right, obviously it needing to be behind the home in order to come up with the location that we're requesting now. Our previous proposals, which I don't have to share, would have required larger encroachments into the setback as well as the buffer. So we knew that those were not good options and worked to get to the point that we're requesting these variances. I think a few things that may be worth mentioning, taking into account the encroachment of the pool into the 50-foot setback is something that a power that council gave to staff to approve at a staff level, but from my understanding, that's not something that staff exercises for pools. But I think that paints a picture of how council views encroachments into the 50-foot setback. Our encroachment into, our proposed encroachment into the critical line buffer, obviously very minimal. The actual footprint in the ground is, by my estimation, roughly 10 to 12 fence posts for purposes of support. So not something that's going to inhibit or really in any way disrupt the flow of runoff leaving from the site to the marsh. Another item I thought that was worth mentioning is the barrier surrounding the pool, the fence for which we're requesting a variance. Is that requirement is based in the 2021 International or the South Carolina Residential Pool and Spa Code. That is not a code that's been adopted by the state of South Carolina or adopted by Charleston County as an ordinance, but as a general rule, I feel like that's a life safety issue. It's something that's important, not something that we wish to challenge, but whether seek variance in order to be able to comply. In addition, my client's wife, who also will reside at this home, has a litany of physical ailments. It's a detriment to her, a potential detriment to her health. Every time that she leaves the home, she does so weekly for doctor's appointments, but we don't wish to add to the number of times. Aquatic therapy has been recommended by several of her doctors. I believe you guys have written documentation of that within your documentation. And so this request, in addition to being a request from BZA for a variance, also is a request for a reasonable accommodation under the ADA. And I feel like, most of while pools, are often looked at as elective, there are 21 lots within this phase of the subdivision. All but 5 of those lots with homes have pools. It's very ordinary, customary, expected of homes within this community. So we're attempting to have the same, but also to minimize the requests that we're making from BZA to accommodate that.
Very good. What's your role in this again, please?
Okay, so I am, and this one's a little unusual. I'm a permit expediter, so I take care of different special exception variance requests for clients routinely. In this particular case, the property owner is a good friend, personal friend, business colleague. So this one's a little closer to home than is typical.
Very good. And you own this company, or you're an employee of this company?
I own this company, the Permit Expediters.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been in business, sir?
I have been in business for 1 month shy of 20 years.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay. Let's see if any of these board members starting to... Mr. Nelson?
Mr. McCullough, thank you so much for your presentation. Ms. Working, can you pull up the plat of the neighborhood? So, by way of background, I've done a lot of wetland delineations and permitting and that kind of stuff over the years. And as I was looking through this one, the one thing that caught my eye when we look at lot 83, this plat shows a freshwater wetland that would have been delineated in 97 or whatever. And there's a note that points toward a USACE buffer.
Yes.
Are there deed restrictions associated with that buffer?
There are, but the county requirements from the critical line were so substantially landward of that buffer that it was not so much taken into account in the design. Because we had much more much larger restrictions otherwise.
Okay, so the pool or the fence don't fall within that
No, sir.
USACE buffer?
Correct.
Okay. That was my question.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Smith, I'll get to you. Yes, sir.
I don't know how to form a question in response to that, but I did not follow that. But my question is the variance requested, is the variance required for the pool or just for the fence?
So the variant, there are actually, I guess, technically two separate variance requests, one for the pool, one for the fence. The request for the pool only required encroachment into the 50-foot setback from the critical line. The fence, in order to surround the pool on the marsh side, also required a small encroachment into the critical line buffer. So that's the reason for the two separate requests. And you'll see the fence is shown, I think someone asked earlier, it is the line with intermittent X's running across the rear. 6 foot is the maximum point
And
of
you're
encroachment.
currently building the house, or it's already built, and you're wanting to add a pool, or that's part of the...
The home is well under construction. It's all the mechanicals are complete, so starting to work on the interior.
You could just not build the pool or the fence.
You said not build a pool or a fence, or
Right. You don't have to build a pool or a fence.
conceivably, but 2 points. Pools are very much within keeping of the development. As I mentioned before, there are 21 lots within this development that are built upon. Only 5 of those do not have pools, and as well as this is a reasonable accommodation that we're requesting under the ADA as well, due to the physical elements of the owner's spouse.
What do you think would happen to the property values of the surrounding neighborhood if the marsh were to die or to diminish from encroaching on this critical line barrier? What is like the purpose of the critical line barrier is to protect the waterway?
Certainly. I believe in this case, I think we have the opposite problem on this side of the peninsula, where the marshlands are actually intruding further into properties, not necessarily receding. I don't feel like this presents any any potential issues related to the marshlands that are on the property, but I believe partially within staff's recommendations are that we provide some mitigating, like maybe rain gardens or rain barrels in order to help deal with stormwater runoff as well, and we're certainly open to that.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Smith? Thank you. Mr. Brown?
Just following up on the previous question about the setbacks and maybe some of the original setbacks and what you were dealing with. Was that what limited the location of the house?
Yes, sir.
Because it seems like all of this really was one big project, house and pool, and not necessarily house and, now we decided to build a pool. Was any accommodations set, like the house location further towards the street or turned a different way or organized? Was any of that investigated before to accommodate a pool to not have to deal with what we're dealing with now?
So in this case, a lot of the need for this is, again, due to the wife's physical ailment. She's had some pretty large declines since all of this planning was contemplated. A pool was considered, but not necessarily for the therapeutic purposes that are now considered. I think if we had to place a pool on the property that were not for her needs, I think that we could probably accommodate something that's, would require a lesser variance request, but nonetheless, those are realities that we have to deal with now.
Yeah, so no other location of the house or adjusting the location of the house was looked at prior to?
Well, you'll see on our site plan that we've essentially we have our front left corner on the front setback. Really, to relocate the home, we would be here asking for variances in other locations. Didn't really see at the time that the home was planned. Didn't really see an issue. We knew that it was tight, Specifically, of that 0.69 acres, there is 80% of this lot is encumbered by setbacks and buffers. So while it's a seemingly large lot, it has that unusual configuration kind of coupled with, a large encumbrance by setbacks and buffer requirements. And that's kind of what led us here today.
So a variance on the front setback was never looked at or anything to give more room in the rear?
Didn't really foresee that we needed it. And I will say, I don't know if this is really detrimental or beneficial to my case, but my client had the critical line certified at a point roughly a year and a half ago. We actually were not in agreement with the critical line location, thought it was overly intrusive in the property. I have a part owner in a surveying firm. We went out anew, relocated that, really had to pressure OCRM at the time to certify a new critical line location more than 1 year prior to the old critical line location expiring. So we've really kind of taken all of the different, angles that we could in approaching this to minimize what variance requests were needed in this case. There are some things, if we could look back in time, maybe could have been done a little bit differently, maybe requesting those variances on the front setback, for instance, but nonetheless, we are where we are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Neal?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've got a couple of questions. I'll try to do them in the order that makes sense to where I'm leading to. So the site plan, can you pull up, Ms. Working, the site plan for me? His site plan, yeah, there you go. So the left side of the proposed house, is that a mother-in-law suite? Is that additional? What is that?
It's part of the conditioned area. The reason that it's configured the way that it is the small constricted area that appears to connect two separate areas is actually open beneath. So there's conditioned area on the second floor, but it's open air on the area beneath. That's the reason that it's delineated separately.
I mean, I'm not an architect or designer or anything like that, but if you didn't have that right there, the pool would be in a great spot right there. You made the comment about 80% of your buildable pad was gone. Well, it's because you got a big project here. How big is the proposed house, heating and air? What's your square footage?
The house is roughly 3,200 square feet. I think the
3,200.
exact heated area is I believe it's in the lot coverage table. Of the site plan.
So yeah, I mean, with this size house, you're going to use up a lot of the lot, but I don't really have issues there. So my next question is really about the fence in the back going into the critical line buffer, and then the pool going into the 50-foot OCRM setback. So looking at this plat, I'm nervous that with the fence line going 14 or 15 feet into that line, that critical line area, what's the material you're using around the pool? Do we have some impervious material going around, or are we going to plan on putting a deck all the way back to the fence? So, I mean, I think we're making some big impacts back there.
So the decking is actually encompassed within the pool footprint that's shown on this site plan.
So nothing to the left of the pool footprint or to the right where the stairs are, none of that is hard area.
Correct. That's correct.
That answers a lot. And then all the way out, so between the pool and the fence, that's just
that will be
yard.
I'm assuming if we can grasp that, that's really a question I had. I know there are limitations on activities within the critical line buffer, so I don't know that we would be allowed to interfere with that area and sod that area or anything of that nature. But that would be a question I'd have of staff, assuming this were approved.
My question really isn't for the applicant here, but it really would be more for if we were to approve the variance that allows his fence to be in that area and the pool to be in that area, is it understood that he can't have anything else in there? Or, I mean, once we open it up and say, hey, he can build the pool, he could put more impervious material or pervious material in that area, and we don't want it. If we're okay with something, I just don't know how to Mr. Null, I mean, have we done anything like that before?
Not to my knowledge. Have you remember? I don't recall, but
I mean, would that take additional exceptions?
No, you're only approving what he's asking for. You're not giving permission to do more.
So he'd have to stay to this plan. He couldn't add. So if he's gone on record saying he's not going to add anything behind the pool, and there's a gap between that and the fence, so if he was to build anything, he'd have to come back to us, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I also have that condition number 3 that states that he has to keep to this footprint.
Okay. All right. Well, that answers my question. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Siddell.
Thank you, Mr. Colley. I just a question about the fence. This is the county requirement to have fence around swimming pools, 4-foot fence, whatever. But it doesn't specify how far the fence needs to be. Why couldn't the fence just be right up against the pool? What, is that just for aesthetic reasons that you got the fence that distance from the pool?
Yes, sir. I think it was done more from an aesthetic standpoint such that the pool fencing is essentially a piece and part of or appears to be piece and part of the fencing for the rear yard versus just a pool containment, if that makes sense.
If you were just meeting the county requirements, you could put the fence around the pool itself and not have to ask for a variance against this, right?
Conceivably.
There's many pools that have fence directly around the pool. That's not an unusual thing in the communities with setback requirements.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Certainly.
Yes, sir.
I just had one question, I think, and that was the dimensions of the pool, length, width, including the coping. What's the size of it? And I'm thinking in terms of you're proposing something for, among other reasons, for aquatic therapy.
Yes,
what is the size of the pool?
I did not come prepared. I have that information in my email somewhere, but I did not come prepared to answer that question. I know that we evaluated what the minimum. Originally, there was a larger pool contemplated for this project, and I know that we, as part of the planning for the pool, we analyzed what the minimum that was going to be necessary was, recognizing that we were coming to BZA, and we traditionally do that work ahead of coming. We don't like to come here and be requested to go back and rework. We like to definitely attempt to do that work before coming to the board for a variance request, so that we ensure that it's the minimum necessary.
The reason I'm asking is I might be more. I'm not stating what my entire thought process is, but at this point, if this is a request for a pool for aquatic therapy versus a larger pool, it might be, I might feel differently. Okay. Can you tell me, is the pool from here, from me to Ms. Working, or is it something that I think in terms of a hot tub? What are we talking about?
I'm measuring it, and it's I'm getting 15 feet by 30 feet on the site plan.
Okay. So that's a true swimming pool, not necessarily for aquatic therapy, is the way I'm reading this.
That's certainly not the intent. Like I said, we were looking at much larger pools when it was intended to be used strictly for recreation purposes. So it's been right-sized, if you will, for what was needed.
So at this time, Ms. Brooks has some information she wants to provide for us. Oh.
That was it. Jenny had the measurements.
Okay.
We both had the measurements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
You confirm?
Mr. Brown?
Confirm.
Yes, so it's confirmed. Yes. Mr. Brown?
Question. So with this fence location, is there anything going on in the yard on the left side of this site plan that would preclude turning the fence and getting it further out of the...
Not necessarily, but the reason that the fence is presented in the way that it is such that it appears more as a fenced rear yard instead of specifically fencing. But at the same time, that's also not where that's at the point that we're discussing that the fence is getting closer and closer and closer to being outside of that buffer as well. So I guess my thoughts were that any changes to that regard would be, we'd be dealing with the small portion of the request and not the large portion. But we're, certainly open to, suggestions or.
Fortunately, I'm not quite following what you're saying, but yeah, it just seems to me that there's potential to reduce your impact on the critical line with some adjustments to the fence and a rear, enclosing the yard versus enclosing the pool.
Mm-hmm.
It seems one should take precedent over the other, but
okay,
I'm not here to say that.
Okay. Well, again, just to clarify, our point of maximum encroachment is at a place where it's necessary. If that makes sense, I believe.
I'm seeing a note on here that says fence 6-foot projection in 35-foot OCRM buffer. That appears to be a long, further distance than where you've got it from the corner of the pool, which is, if I'm reading that correctly, am I misreading that?
Let's see. Yes, sir. You're correct. It's actually past at the point we've eclipsed the pool. That's correct.
I agree.
And unless I'm misreading it, it appears unless there's something that I don't know about impacting the location of the fence, you could not have to make any kind of variance request for the fence.
But I believe
correctly.
Yeah, but I think the fence would require encroachment at some point. I think it could certainly be. We could probably minimize the encroachment at the point that it's 6 foot by swinging that section closer to the road versus what.
I wonder if there's something in there, a lot of trees or some rock cropping or something that would keep you from putting a fence further towards the street.
No, sir. Just that attempt to have actual yard space that's within that fence, behind the. So, certainly.
All right, Mr. Neal, I saw your hand next.
I was following up on my fellow commissioner here that it looks like to me that you could do this project with the variance for the pool, but you don't need the variance for the fence other than for aesthetics.
Correct. That's correct.
There was testimony here about water therapy and all these different things, and really the fence is a choosing of your own, and that's one of the tests that we have for variances is this of your own making. Right. And it looks like the fence is of your own making. The pool is questionable, but you could do this project without having the fence with your second variance.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jordan?
So did I hear you correctly that you said the original intent for the swimming pool was for recreational uses?
It was originally contemplated as recreational. It was really not until such time as my client's spouse took a pretty large decline in health and the recommendations of her doctor team that it was seen through the different lenses for medical purposes rather than recreational.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Yes, sir.
Staff has said that they don't feel that this meets criterion number 3, and you went through a rather lengthy explanation in your letter outlining the medical conditions that your client's spouse has faced. For the benefit of the board, you may want to expound upon that a little bit more, just briefly.
I don't know that I could elaborate much more on that than what's contained within my letter, but I could certainly read some sections of it if that's.
There are times when not all the information that gets submitted gets read by all of the board members. So.
Completely understood. Okay.
I'll get to you in just a second. Let him answer that.
Okay. So,
smart move.
So I'll just start at a kind of a midpoint. It's like efforts have been made to minimize the variances requested herein by shrinking the size of the pool, relocating the pool side to side on the lot from that which was originally contemplated. Additionally, the land disturbance associated with the pool fencing is very minimal, only the necessary post support sufficient for an approximately 70-foot length of fence. Ultimately, to be determined by the fence design, but we're guessing 10 to 12 posts. The property owner's spouse, who will reside at the home, suffers a multitude of medical conditions and physical ailments, including but not limited to a recent massive seizure resulting in a 6-week hospitalization, loss of such basic skills as chewing, walking, and performing daily tasks, continual weekly therapies required, a rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis under the care of the Low Country Rheumatology, required bi-monthly infusions, and a torn ligament requiring surgery. It's under the care of a sports medicine specialist in Charleston. But nonetheless, her mobility is severely limited, and it's a danger at any point that she makes motions, essentially.
I appreciate you doing that. I know that we don't necessarily need to get to all of her diagnoses. But along those lines, a 15 by 30 pool is a decent-sized swimming pool. Has there been any consideration for making it even smaller, just so we can reduce some of the impacts to the buffer?
My understanding is that my client, the property owner, and their pool contractor have worked to, along with the recommendations for the medical purposes for the pool, and made the determination that what is presented here is what the minimum necessary to fulfill that. I'm certainly not a specialist in that area. I can't speak to that, but that might be my next thing I need to delve into and learn more about.
Thank you. Mr. Jordan?
So did you say earlier, or staff or somebody, that there are other pools in the community?
Yes, sir. There are 21 homes within this phase of Paradise Island, all but 5 of those on the built-upon lots within this phase. All but 5 of those have pools.
So do you or staff have a breakdown percentage-wise of how many are regular size as opposed to therapeutic pools in the area?
That might be a stretch.
Yeah, I certainly don't.
Well, there's something to think about, though.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, would there be neighbors or residents would not want you to have what you're asking for? That's my point.
Very valid. Very valid. Board members, do we have any more pertinent questions we need to ask this applicant? Thank you so very much for your testimony today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else to speak in support? Anyone else to speak in support of this application? Very good. Do we have anyone to speak in opposition? I see your hand, sir, first. Yes.
And I did forget to mention, there were, in your supplemental packets, there's 2 public comments in opposition to this case.
Sir, were you sworn in?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay, thank you for that. Please state your name and address for the record, and please tell us why.
My name is Thomas Rivers. I live at 1481 Cat Island Parkway, lot number 67 on your plan there. I'm directly across from the property in question.
Thank
you. My wife and I were delivered this notice, and we wanted to bring up a couple of points. When this project started, an extreme amount of dirt was brought in to bring the property up to where they could build on it. And since that construction has started, we've seen increased water retention on our side of the cove. We've had 7 trees that are in the marsh buffer in front of our house that are starting to die. As a result of this, the concern that we have about the encroachment on the critical line is that if they take those trees out that are on the edge of the marsh, that's less opportunity for water to be retained by the trees. Water level's going to increase. And if the trees come down, there's less opportunity for privacy because we're literally looking right at the house, and it's a pretty significantly sized house. We're one of the 5 that doesn't have a pool, by the way. But my point is, this gentleman who owns the house knew where the critical line was when he bought the house, and he decided to build this very large house. The minimum for the neighborhood is 3,000 feet. He says it's 3,200. I think it's a little bit bigger than that. And we are, to his credit, we are required, if we do have a pool, to have it behind the house where it can't be seen from the street. but the house is situated, if they turn the house a little bit, they could put it right behind the house and there would be no encroachment. So this seems to us like it's an afterthought because the house has been under construction. It's almost complete. It's probably 80% complete. And I would like to offer my wife's and my sincere condolences to Mr. Branham's wife for her condition, because we don't want to tell anybody what they can and can't do, but we're legitimately afraid that if they build into the critical line's there for a reason. So if they get a variance into the critical line, what is that going to do to us? And there's 3 more lots in that cove that are available for sale. If we open the door to that critical line intrusion, what's that look like going forward? And if we are impacted by it in a negative way, who's responsible? Who's going to compensate my wife and I when our plants start dying or we have water come over? We bought our house. We didn't build our house. So our house was 2 years old when we bought it. And we have a retaining wall around our house. And when we have a king tide or a hurricane or even the king tide, the water comes up almost to the top of the wall. And that water has gotten significantly higher, an inch or two, since the construction started because of the amount of infill that they've had. So those are the big things that concern us, and to the point of was this of the applicant's own making. Again, I submit that he knew exactly what he was buying if he did his due diligence, because he knew what was buildable and what wasn't buildable, where the critical line was. So respectfully, I submit that this is sort of a situation of his own making, and we're concerned that it already impacts us a little bit. We're concerned that if the easement was granted or the variance was granted, that it would be a bigger impact on our property and our quality of life.
Okay. Well, thank you for your statement. Hold tight. Let me see if any board member has a question for you. On my left. Okay. Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir, Mr. Brown.
Did I hear you correctly? And are there trees that you said are coming down?
Yeah, I caught
with
that
the
too.
pool going in?
There's a small buffer of trees behind the house. And I only know this because I live directly across from it. So there's some pine trees, some cedar trees, a couple of trees between their house and where the actual marsh starts. So the area that they're talking about doing the fencing in and part of the pool, if it's really a 15 by 30, which is not, as Mr. Jordan said, a therapeutic pool or a lap pool, then those trees would come down. They'd have to come down.
Trees are, so that I am hearing there's trees inside of the
They're not huge
setback
trees,
that are
and they're
coming
not
down.
That's not
grand oaks or anything like that.
Yeah, he's not
But they're
referring to what we're seeing.
Okay.
Right.
There's just trees behind the house somewhere that are
Right.
potentially coming down.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got a couple of questions here. That was one of my questions. I think we'll have to follow up with the owner applicant, because you're stating that he's taking trees down in the setback area.
No, I'm not saying he did. I'm saying in order for him to build a
but
pool,
that's not part of
have to.
that's not part of the plan, so he wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay.
You mentioned on your lot that there's a retaining wall. So would that retaining wall be in a setback area already?
No, it's our setback area this is inside the setback. The retaining wall is within 8 feet of my house, of the pad of where my house is. So,
it's obtained on your property?
That I do not know. We bought the property. We did not build the house.
Right.
No, my wife says no variance. So.
There's no variance before you bought it. You wouldn't know though, right?
We did not. The wall was built when we got it.
I'll save my question for the applicant when he comes back to rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions on my right? Ms. Smith, you had one?
So it looks like there's like a fence, a small silt fence set up, and then on the other side of that, there appears to be some palm trees and scrub trees. I think that would be within the OCRM buffer. Would that normally wouldn't be encroached, or those trees wouldn't be taken down and they would be able to absorb water, is what you're saying. And now those will probably, if we're encroaching into that buffer, they'll probably have to come down, and
That's
the
our
water.
concern, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it would affect the water retention in the area and okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Okay. Thank you so very much
Thank
for
you
your
very much for
testimony
your time.
today. Do we have anyone else to speak up? Yes, ma'am. Please pull that mic down, and you know the procedure.
I do. I'm Susan Kershaw. I live at 3605 Berry Hill Road on Johns Island. Before I get into what I wrote, if you look at a satellite map of this lot, not that one, but if I bring it up on my iPad, it shows what they have cleared and put fill down as. And they have cleared and filled in a very large portion of the buffer zone already. So I would like that. I hate that happened, and I think that should be corrected. Okay, I'm here again to try and convince you to uphold the ordinances that protect the critical line buffer and setback zones. We must allow the marsh to migrate, or it will die off. In this world of sea levels rising, it is an established priority of the Charleston Water Plan to preserve vegetated and flexible landscapes upland of the marsh, available for migration of the marsh. We must preserve the buffer zone in this vegetated state. As for this case, I suggest it does not meet criteria 2 or 6 and others, and should therefore be disapproved. As evidenced by the many variances this board has granted to owners in Paradise Island for these same conditions, the conditions mentioned in the various variance requests obviously do generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Regarding number 6, I think if you look at the build-out diagram, I'm not sure what it's called, the square footage is of climate-controlled space is 3,600 square feet. They could have built this house significantly smaller, insignificantly smaller, and still had room for that pool if they just reduced it a couple hundred square feet. So I suggest it is the result of the owner's own actions. I disagree with your framing that the cause for the need for a variance is that the critical line moved. The critical lines move, and with sea level rise, they move. There's a point, if it moves too much, that might cause a variance, but this one did not. They're building a 3,600 square foot house that is not placed efficiently on this lot, and they're asking a variance for something they could have planned for up front. So I request that you look into their filling of the buffer zone, please.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, let's see if anyone has a question for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to let Ms. Smith go first. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
I've got this lot pulled up on Google Maps, and I don't see where it's been cleared. Do you remember where you would have seen that?
If you look at Google Earth, at the 2000,
I got it now,
or
but I don't know.
if I look at my map, which is an Apple map, let me get it up, and I'll hand it to Ms. Working.
The 2005 aerial, 2025 aerials, after we did our maps. That's why our maps show.
So you do have it?
We have it,
Okay.
but I got to figure out how to pull it up.
Because I'm not online.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, but I have it.
You see all the talent we have here in Charleston County at our fingertips.
I'm trying to get this up there.
They're all younger than people like me.
There we go. That critical zone buffer line is pretty darn close to the house. but that fencing and fill is quite a ways away.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Wait, I have a
Wait a minute. Was your question answered?
We're looking at the map now, and we see where the silt fencing is. Will it need to go back even further? Will they have to do you think they'll have to, where that silt fence is existing?
I don't think it will have to go back further.
Okay.
Because they've exposed already quite a bit.
Okay.
They've taken down lots of bushes and trees already.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Anyone else on my left? Yes, sir, Mr. Nelson.
Ms. Kershaw, I do appreciate the comments that you make. And one thing I would encourage you to do, this is a complete aside, there's a federal and state working group in South Carolina called the South Atlantic Salt Marsh Initiative, SASHME. And,
I follow them very closely.
And I participate in their proceedings as well.
Yeah.
So just to
Thank
make you
you.
feel a little bit better.
Thank you.
I'm more advocating that we not base lot lines on wetland boundaries. I think that's a little bit more appropriate than it causes these scenarios, that it's not necessarily the result of the applicant's actions. But I'm not saying I'm for or against this particular pool, but don't misread what I'm saying when I ask those types of questions.
Thank you.
Anyone on my right?
I don't know if I know how to take it down.
Anyone else for her?
You might have to come back.
Thank you, Ms. Kershaw.
You did something duplicate. I don't know.
Anyone else in opposition? Anyone else in opposition? Very good. So, sir, you have the right of rebuttal, limited to 2 minutes if you so choose. Please state your name and address for the record again for us, please, before you start.
Matt McCauley, 171 Church Street, Suite 340, Charleston, South Carolina, 29401. I guess just a couple of points. The clearing and grading of this lot, there was fill brought in, very customary of construction on nearly every lot within this development, and ultimately most similarly positioned lots. The goal in that kind of served two purposes. One of those was this lot was very close to being at the county's freeboard at the base flood elevation, such that with the fill that was brought in, the home should qualify to be removed from the flood zone on completion, which is a benefit to the owners, as well as it also minimized the amount of elevation, the amount of stairs that were required in the home for building access, there again for the owner's spouse primarily. As far as the clearing limits, I would submit that the property lines and their correspondence to the aerial photography and what's on the screen currently is approximate in nature at best. Our clearing was guided by survey quality staking of the critical line buffer that's applicable to this property as required by the ordinance. This property's also had monthly stormwater inspections that happen routinely. No issues have been raised in that regard.
All
I
right.
feel like if we had completed any misgivings, that certainly comes up in inspection reports. I see those a lot from other clients.
Let me see if I have a question. I know I have a question here on my right.
No, I'm good now.
Oh, okay. Any else on my right? No? Okay.
Do you have an idea of the average size pool in that neighborhood?
I do not. I simply went through the aerial and counted the obvious pools in rear yards of other homes just as a point of illustration, but I did not get into the sizes.
No, and there certainly are a lot. I think if you zoomed out on this image, you would see a bunch in there. I just don't know if they're all 15 by 30. So a lot of them seem to be pretty small.
Okay. I would, do I still have any time left to use?
You can answer my question,
Okay. I would like to submit that the wall on the neighbor's property, albeit not completed by them, that wall most certainly would have required a variance or was illegally constructed at the time it was built.
Has to.
Okay, well,
Has to.
All right. Thank you so very much for any more questions on my left? Thank you so very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, the case is closed to the public. Board members, do we have any questions of staff? Yes, sir, Mr. Brown.
Has there been any verification with this? You know, I know we just looked at the county GIS, but within the critical line setback, has there been any kind of verification that the fill and all the clearing that's been done is within the critical line buffer? Has that been verified or looked into?
You have to assume that it's
We're
right.
not sure, no. I believe they
Doesn't
have,
follow the line of what's on this survey, so
You have to assume that it's right. That's not our purview. You know, that's inspections and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I just wondered if it had been
No,
looked
that's
at.
fair.
yeah, and these are the activities you cannot do within the buffer.
And- But
That's the 35, so anything within it can't be planted or no grass.
Yes, sir.
I just want to verify that or build on the one comment that was made about taking trees down in that extra area, basically where we're struggling with the fence that I think a lot of us are working with in that last 35 feet. So basically, you can go to the Google map one or the other. I mean, the site plan is fine. I mean, anything behind the pool. Well, let's say this: if the scenario comes out where the one variance is approved and the fence variance is not approved, nothing could be done behind the pool that would go into that buffer. Correct.
Correct.
But the pool could still be there because that's the first variance into the 50-foot critical line, but not the 35-foot critical line.
Right.
That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown?
It's tying into that, I do have another question, but I don't know if it's necessarily for staff or for Mr. Hegee here. But if let's say we choose to approve the pool location but deny the fence, is there anything at issue with the fact that you have to have a fence around the pool in order to have a pool? Is it? I don't know if we're affecting any kind of things.
I mean, you have to vote on each matter. I mean, you have two issues before you, and you have to vote. If the board feels that they both meet the requirements, if you don't,
And it's up to somebody else to decide if it meets DHEC requirements or whatever to put in a pool. Okay.
Mr. Jordan?
At this point, does he have any options to defer to renegotiate the size of that pool with the staff?
Yeah, he can ask for a deferral. Is this on? Yeah. If he would like to revise the plans,
So he could do that right now before we vote if he wanted to.
if he wanted to.
He had to request it, though.
That's what I'm trying to point out to him.
You had a question for staff?
I did. Maybe it was more of a comment, but if this were, I'm thinking in terms of threshold and under criteria number 6, if this were truly a pool for the purposes of therapy, a therapeutic pool versus a recreational pool, would we may not even have to be here, would we? If they made a therapeutic pool of a smaller size, we wouldn't be dealing with any of these issues. Am I correct?
I mean, if
If it
it depends on the
encroached.
shape of the pool. I mean, like that would make it into like a triangle shape. So you may still need to.
But that's
may-
not what they're asking for.
Yeah.
That was my point.
Right.
I know that I was following up on what Mr. Jordan, what I understood to be Mr. Jordan's point is they could seek I'm not saying that we should, but they could seek a deferral and come back and ask for a therapeutic pool rather than one of this size.
the board is not ruling on the pool. The board is ruling on the board is not ruling on the use. The board is ruling on the
variance.
encroachment.
I understand,
Yeah, I'm just.
but it has practical effect of encroaching with the size.
Anything else? Ms. Smith?
Are we doing questions for staff or are we doing discussion?
Well, this is questions for staff, and then we can have general discussion. I just want to get staff out of the way first.
Okay, well, then what is the purpose of the OCRM buffer and the OCRM setback?
I had that up earlier. Sorry, let me get this.
Good question. Thank you.
The buffer is supposed to remain natural, completely oh gosh, sorry y'all. Not very good at this. Where did it go? This one. Okay. No, that's not the right one either. So the buffer is supposed to remain natural. They're not supposed to disturb the soil. You can't have grass lawns with pesticides, fertilizers. You can't have gardens, fences, which is what we're debating about in the buffer, and paved surfaces, driveways. Really can't add any plant life that's not natural to the area. So that's the purpose of the buffer. The setback is to stay outside of the buffer and the setback. So it's a 15-foot added on top of that 50.
For removing, so you're not allowed to pave within that setback? You're not allowed to?
Within the buffer.
Well, the setback is 50-foot OCRM setback, and we have a pool in it, and we've cleared all the trees within that area. What's not supposed to go between that buffer and the setback? What is that width?
I'm not sure.
What is that for?
Yeah, so it's kind of no structure such as anything with a building or a roof or pools are considered permanent structures. So those would be limited to the setback. So there's that 15 feet kind of between the setback and the buffer, I guess, in order to give some space for construction or, so they could have lawn space in that or yard space, whatnot, between the setback and the buffer. But the buffer would just be a natural, undisturbed area. But they could kind of do anything, just not building-wise in that.
Right, like a concrete pad for a pool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Good question. Okay, any other questions for staff? All right, do we have any general discussion?
One by one?
Tickle my fancy. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was just for discussion. I didn't.
Well, we're in discussion.
I thought somebody else had a question.
Does anyone else have any comments, discussion that we want to have regarding before I ask for a motion to approve or disapprove?
I guess I don't know if it's discussion. This seems like a want to have and not a need to have. I understand the disability aspect, but this isn't a pool sized for disability, and I think that the damage that it would do to the neighbors would keep it from meeting the variance approval criteria. The damage that it would do to the watershed, the damage that it would do, I don't think it meets the criteria.
Okay. We're in discussion now. Go ahead. Anybody else?
I'm ready to make a motion on one, but not two.
Okay. Well, hearing none, anyone would like to make a motion regarding this particular case? 00881. Anyone? All right. Mr.
One question then. This is only one case, so we can only make one motion, correct?
There's two variances, so I was going to make a motion on one variance first.
Okay.
And see where it goes.
All right.
Fire for effect.
Well, I mean, there's two variances, so I can make a motion that includes both variances, or I can make a motion for the first variance and then make a motion for the second variance. Is that correct, Mr. Chair? Or
yes.
Mr. Attorney?
Yes.
So my motion is going to involve the first variance if I can put my glasses on. So, Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the variance request for the first variance, which would be to reduce the required 50-foot critical line setback by 14 feet 6 inches for the swimming pool. I am not including the second variance request as part of my motion. I feel that the 7 criteria are met. Number 1 criteria, there are extraordinary exceptional conditions to this lot. The mere layout of this lot shows that it's exceptional conditions. Number 2, the conditions do not generally apply to the other property in the vicinity. Again, a very, very strange lot with the jagged edges on the back and the fact that the critical line has moved. Number 3, because of these conditions, of application of this ordinance, a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit and unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. There is a baseline of 3,000 square foot. I heard testimony for the house size, and this testimony was around 3,200. So they've got a minimum to have anyway. If they lost a portion of the house on the left and put the pool there, they might not. There might be some other variances that would be asked for, and you'd have some other configurations, and probably be right back asking for another variance down the right side. The authorization of a variance will not be substantial detriment to the adjacent property. The property owner that objected to this is down the street and across. The 2 properties adjacent, we did not hear from tonight on either side. So if they're not here complaining about it, I take that as not going to be a substantial detriment. Also, the comment that was made in opposition, or one of the comments that was made in opposition, was about the screening and things like that, and there still will be 35, and with this motion, I'm not obstructing the 35-foot setback for the remaining portion of the properties as they brought up on the aerial, so I won't include that. Number 5, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall not grant a variance which would be allowed the establishment of use of non-permitted in the zoning district. There are numerous pools in this area. We heard testimony. I'm sure I recall other variances that have been obtained in this Paradise Island, so I don't think we're altering the zoning district one bit. The need for the variance is not the result of the applicant's own actions. For this variance, I don't believe it has. Again, that's why I'm separating the variances. Number 7, granting of the variance does not substantially conflict with a comprehensive plan for the purposes of this ordinance. So I don't see any substantial issues with any of the criteria for the zoning variances. I would include all of staff's comments that are related. Ms. Working, are there any that are related to this one for, no, I'm fine with all the staff's comments because I wanted to make sure as to this variance and the pool that there would be no additional detriment to the surrounding area outside of the pool. So I'm keeping this area fine with the pool because it's just a very small intrusion. That's my motion. I hope I get a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Go into you. I'm going to detain or.
Can we discuss this one first before we?
Yeah, I wasn't going to do the second one yet because I didn't.
I seconded for the purpose of discussion.
Okay, I'll entertain it. Go ahead.
So the reason why I seconded this is as I've thought about this particular application. I mean, quite honestly, I think 15 by 30 foot pool is too large for therapeutic purposes. And looking at a lot of the other pools in the area, they are generally smaller than this. There may be 1 or 2 that are 15 by 30. A lot of them are 10 by 20 or something like that. And so the more I think about the way you're approaching this, Mr. Neal, it occurs to me that what we are allowing is a maximum footprint that might be the best way to solve this particular problem. Because if we deny this request, the applicant could resize the pool and come back and ask for a smaller pool, and we have to hear this matter again, which might be a nice little punitive way to tell somebody, hey, please deal with this on the front end. And size your lot accordingly, your house accordingly, put it on the lot properly so that we don't have to go through this process. But the fact is, if we approve this and disapprove the fence, if they want a fence, they have to reduce the size of the pool, and we don't have to hear the matter again. So for that reason, I've almost talked myself into supporting this motion that I seconded.
Okay.
May I follow up?
Yeah.
So my point is the house is almost built, so I don't think they're going to move things around, and I don't think they're going to come back and reduce the pool. They're either going to not build the pool or they're going to fit it in without a variance. So I think the majority of the issues that I heard tonight were really about behind the pool. I mean, we heard comments about marshland, setbacks, taking trees down, all kinds of stuff. And personally, I don't have a problem whether they use it for a pool or whether they use it for a therapeutic pool. I think, they probably got grandkids. They're probably going to have a pool out there. So we're not debating the use of the pool. And that's not what's in front of us. So what's in front of us is whether or not you can have a pool out there at Paradise Island. And it's whether or not it's in the variant, they need a variance to get it in the setback. So, I mean, they could reduce the pool a little bit and come back, but I'm fine with a 15 by 30. Personally, I don't think that pool is that big of a pool. We've seen bigger. So I made the motion the way it is. If it doesn't pass, then the other one's going to die as well, most likely. Right. So that's why I made this one to see if we could, as a test.
No, I'm agreeing with you, but I think if we denied the fence, they could still build a fence in the setback without a need for a variance. They would just have to reduce the size of the pool. So we could be accomplishing the same thing just by passing this the way it is.
You had a comment.
No, I was just thinking that what's being sought is a reduction in the critical line by 30%. Environmentally, that's very concerning to me. I endorse the idea of denying this request, letting them come back with a plan that's more reasonable. I think they're seeking the maximum, and they should have thought about it. I heard my colleague talk. It seemed that he just glossed over the facts as set forth in criteria number 6 and just drew a conclusion that it wasn't their own doing. It's just the opposite in my mind. So I'm going to vote to deny this request and let them come back with something that's perhaps more reasonable.
Mr. Brown, did I see your hand? No? Okay. Mr. Jordan?
I just feel like when I said what I said a few minutes ago about deferment, and I heard silence, then I interpret that mean it's all or nothing. And so that's how I'm thinking when I'm going to vote.
Anybody else on my right? Left, excuse me. Any more discussion? All right. All right. I guess we're going to bring that into a vote. All in favor of this motion that's on the floor, please raise your right hand and indicate by saying aye. 1, 2. All those opposed? That's shot down. Okay. You want to do the fence? Because it's a moot point, but it still has to be done.
Somebody else would need to make a motion to deny that.
We just moved.
Well, okay. Yeah. Anybody want to? You want to do that for the second part of it?
Make a motion to deny the second.
For the fence, yes.
Make a motion to deny both.
No. Well, yes.
On the grounds that it does not meet the criteria,
because it just failed.
criteria.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's my motion.
Oh, you said it. Would you repeat it? 'Cause
I make a motion to deny the special variance request in BZA 0725008881 as it does not meet the special exception requirements.
Okay, what's criteria?
Number 6.
Number 6. Thank you. All right. Do I have a second?
Can she clarify that she's just talking about the second part?
Okay.
Should I need to address all the...
No, just clarify that you're only referring to...
She said 6. Criteria 6.
Would you consider
she's referencing
adding
she's
3?
referencing both. You guys already voted on the first part, so you're.
Thank you.
Into the record. Your motion to deny to reduce based on what you said.
A motion includes a denial of reducing the required 35-foot critical line buffer by 6 foot to 29 foot.
Right, for the proposed
fence.
Based on criteria.
Based on it not meeting criteria 6.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, do we have a second? Okay, we have a denial that has been, motion has been properly moved and second. All those in favor?
It's only for the fence?
It's only for the fence.
For both.
No, this is just for the fence. You already voted on the pool.
Okay. Voted on the pool's fence.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raise your right hand. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all good. That was unanimous. Where is that? Okay, there he is. Sir, unfortunately, your application has been denied. You'll be getting information from staff letting you know the next steps in our process in your denial letter. Thank you for applying, and good night. You'll be getting information from staff. Okay. At this time, we will take I don't want to say 5, but let's take a 10-minute recess and we'll reconvene in 10 minutes.
We've still got 6 more.
5 or 10 minutes?
He has had a week.
10.
10 minutes, okay.
Okay, at this time we will start back up again, and our next case is case BZA 07-25-00882. And Ms. Workin will be presenting again.
The applicant and property owner, Luke Wetzel Harper, is requesting a variance to reduce the required 25-foot front street side setback by 2 feet to 23 feet, and to reduce the required 15-foot interior side setback by 9 feet to 6 feet for a proposed single-family residence at 3862 Abe White Road, which is TMS number 614-0000767 in the east area of Charleston County. The subject property and adjacent properties are located in the Special Management S3 zoning district. The property and surrounding properties were designated as the 10-mile community historic district designation on June 21st, 2022. Then on January 11th, 2024, the properties were rezoned from low-density residential R4 zoning district to Special Management S3 zoning district. The 0.25 acre property is vacant. The applicant purchased this property in February 2025. This is the zoning ordinance requirements for S3, my bad, S3. The 300-foot radius map, aerial, zoomed out aerial. He posted the property on August 19th, 2025. A couple pictures of the subject property and adjacent property and Abe White Road. This is a picture of the site plan and then the plat. Regarding the approval criteria, we stated that it does not meet 3. It meets 1, 2, and 5, may meet 4 and 7, may not meet 6. There were 7 public comments in opposition to this case, plus a petition with 60 signatures. And we do not have any recommended conditions for this case.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for staff? Yes, sir.
I'm just not real familiar with this address. Is there a way we can pull up Google Earth? I don't want to hold anything up, but if we can pull up Google Earth just so I can have a bigger, well, I don't know Gadsdenville Road. I know 10 miles is supposed to be 10 miles from the bridge.
Do you know where Gadsdenville Road is and Seafood Road? Seafood Road?
Oh, I know where Hughie Road is.
No. Yeah. If you look at the map, do you know where Gadsdenville Road is?
I don't. That's what I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's right off of Highway 17.
How far out 17? I mean, it's 10 miles, so that's
10 miles.
Give you another marker out there.
I have no idea that. I don't know.
I'll Google it. I'll figure it.
Okay. So just regarding the one criteria 3 that we stated that it does not meet is because the site plan can be redesigned to meet the required setbacks. The driveway is 20 feet. They could just push the house back and then move it to the northeast, I suppose.
Okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Nelson.
Ms. Working, did the applicant make any attempt to reconfigure the lot when you brought to their attention that a variance would be necessary?
No.
Thank you.
That makes it easy. Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Workin. Is the applicant available? Is the applicant here? Very good. Good evening, sir. Please state your name and address for the record. Please pull that mic up so we can hear you clearly. And please tell us why we should approve your application, sir.
Good evening. My name is Luke Wetzel Harper. Address is 412 Carriage Lane, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, 29464. My fiance and I purchased this property in February of this year after looking for a home in a market that was not favorable. We purchased this property with the intent to build our first home, and it'll be a primary residence for us. We are requesting the variance to the setbacks, mainly in regards to the side setbacks, as the lot is 60 feet wide. The recorded plat that we received upon purchase showed the zoning as R4, which had a side setback of 5 feet on each side. The S3 zoning is 3 times that with 15 feet on each side, and it cuts the buildability of the lot in half. So we're looking for an opportunity to build a home that's, suitable for us long term and utilize the property in a way that, we think would be best for our family.
Okay, that's all that you'd like to share with us at this time?
Yes, at this time.
All right, well, let me see if we have anyone here on the board that has a question for you. I'll start on my left. Anyone? Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. Staff has indicated that you don't meet 2 of the criterion that are necessary for us to actually vote for this request. And criterion 3 in particular says, because of these conditions, application of the ordinance to this particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. So can you walk through, understand your logic behind misunderstanding or the previous plat mischaracterizing the current zoning, but are there ways that you could develop a house on this property and meet the setbacks that are per the zoning now?
I believe so. However, I do think that it would require the home to be constructed in a way that would not be suitable for us long term. We have the house positioned on the left side of the lot with the driveway on the right to allow for vehicular access to the backyard for storage of trailers or, anything that we need to put in the back of the property. If we were to place the home at the current setbacks, it would require us to essentially center the home and have the driveway directly in front of the house, which, again, like I said, would not be ideal for us long term.
Okay. Anyone else on my left? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll follow up on Mr. Nelson's question, which I think is wonderful. I mean, even I can somewhat see the argument of the 15-foot setback on the left side, because if you're trying to put a driveway there and maybe you do something in the backyard and have a kid's playground, I understand that. But, I mean, you can't even move you're asking for 2 feet of a front street side setback. You're supposed to be 25 and you're doing 23, and you can't move it 2 feet back? I mean, you can't entertain that?
We would have no problem moving the home back. The main problem for us is the side setbacks.
The question I think Mr. Nelson was trying to get to, I can't read his mind, but he's asking if there's another way to configure this thing so that you have the least amount of variances. And the problem we have with every one of these applications and why they come in front of us is we have to meet these tests. And the test that he says that staff has said it fails is that you didn't look at all the options. Well, you just testified that, we looked at all the options, but, oh, by the way, we don't mind moving it 2 feet back. So it might be something that if you can come up with a configuration and say, well, I did everything I can, but I can't do the 15-foot, but I can do 9 of the 15-foot, and that's the only way you can do it, then you've got a better chance at doing something. So I'm going to struggle with my vote on passing it, because it looks like you didn't look like at every single scenario. So that's a hard mountain for us to climb. So unless you've got another reason, well, I looked at it, there's a tree back there, there's drainage back there, we're on a sewer system, and or not on a sewer system. I mean, there's got to be some other reasons to say why we can't do something.
Yes, sir. So we originally placed the home at the location that it's shown due to a drainage easement at the back of the property to provide as much clearance away from that as possible. When we submitted the application, we did communicate that this was the main issue in question for us was the side setbacks, and that an adjustment to the front and rear would not be a problem for us. We did not have the site plan redrawn. Our surveyor that created the plan showed the R4 setbacks on his original drawing that we paid for. And then we were instructed to add in these setbacks, which is what we did. We did not request him to change the plan any further, just due to not incurring additional costs. So
okay, but that's a good understanding of why you did it. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Oh, okay.
How far down the design road are you with this particular house?
We have a floor plan selected, and this is our first revision of a site plan.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else on this? Yes, sir.
Mr. Harper, that's a driveway on the right side of the house. Is that what I'm looking at there in the plans?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How wide is that?
20 feet.
Possible to narrow that driveway to ask for less of a variance? 20 feet's pretty wide.
I believe so. However, I do not think we would be able to narrow it the full 15 feet.
No, but you show good faith if you tried to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could narrow it as
narrow
much
it
as
down
needed.
to what's acceptable for your vehicles, but
Yes, sir. Yeah.
at least ask for less variance from the side.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
The intent was to be able to park our cars and then have room for future vehicles at the property.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Maybe there's more of a comment. I'm sympathetic to an applicant's attempt to build a residential home. However, we're compelled to comply with the law. I'm just thinking out loud, is this a case where the applicant would seek a deferral to see if there's any acceptable way to build and solve the problem and satisfy the neighbors?
He's asking you if you want to defer the case. Based on the temperature of this board.
Yeah, we would be fine with that. Yes, sir.
Are you asking for that, or are you? We can vote
As
up
in
and-
defer to the next hearing. Is that?
Well, it'll be placed on the docket whenever staff can get you in. Ideally, we typically have 10 cases on the docket. It'll be left up to staff, and you may have to wait a while. Okay. But if you're denied, then you have 12 months to wait. But that's just not our provision. So he's giving you some information that you could use.
It's only 12 months that he comes back. He's got to come back. He can come back with a different plan.
He can come back with a different plan, yes.
That was a different drawing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it to my understanding, and again, I'm not as familiar with
That's
this
okay.
process as you all are. If we were to change the site plan to fully adhere to the S3 setbacks, we would not need a variance.
You wouldn't
correct?
come before us.
Okay. Well, then I believe that's the route that we'll go with then.
So at this time, you're requesting, well, if you're going to make it within the setbacks, then you won't need to come back before us. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, he could defer now.
Why
and then
don't?
do it.
Just give him a deferral.
Give him a deferral.
Okay.
But if he doesn't need to come back,
He could
Then that's
withdraw.
okay. Okay, so based on what council is reminding me of, if you would verbally say, I'd like to have a deferral, then we can defer. We could take it up to a vote and ask for a deferral. Is that your wishes?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So you would
like to defer. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Board members, we have a request to do a deferral. At this time, do I have a motion for deferral?
I'll move to defer.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Brown, a second. All those in favor? Any discussion?
I would encourage the applicant to get with your neighbors as well. She had a lot of opposition to the project, so as you look at new house plans, just make sure if you are going to have to come back in front of this board, you might want to do some canvassing of the neighbors as you come before you come before us.
And since he's giving you words of wisdom, I'll give you some as well. That neighborhood went from R4 to S3 for that purpose. Okay? So you got, okay. Just so you know. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It carries. So your case has been deferred, and you'll be getting information from staff letting you know the next steps in the process.
Sounds
Okay?
good. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you for your time. All right. Almost had one done, guys. All right. Our next case is case BZA 0725-00883.
Okay. The applicant, William T. Eubanks of Urban Edge Studio, on behalf of the property owner, Daniel Borst of Four Seasons Landscape Management, LLC, is requesting a variance for an access drive that is less than 20 feet wide at 3555 Bohicket Road, which is TMS number 21500000014 on Johns Island in Charleston County. The subject property is located in the Rural Agricultural AG8 zoning district. Surrounding properties are located in the Agricultural Residential AGR zoning district. The applicant is currently in the site plan review process for the proposed landscaping and horticultural service use on the 14.6 acre subject property. This is the zoning ordinance requirements pertaining to the access width, the 300-foot radius map, the aerial maps. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. Subject property, Bohicket Road, and then they provided several pictures of the existing conditions on their site plan. This is the overall site plan, the entrance, the main site plan, and the rear area, and the plat. Regarding the approval criteria, we stated that it may meet 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, and that it meets 5 and 7. The board may approve approval conditions or deny the request based on the board's findings of fact unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board decides to approve the application, we suggest the following condition. 1, prior to zoning permit approval, the applicant shall complete the site plan review process. Questions?
Okay, do we have any questions of staff? Any questions of staff? Thank you, Ms. Working. Is the applicant present? Oh, right up close and personal. Please state your name and address for the record, and please tell us why we should approve your application, sir. And please bring that mic closer to you.
Bill
There we
Eubanks, 39 Yaden Avenue, Charleston, South Carolina.
Welcome, Mr. Banks.
Thank you. My client bought this land with the intent of operating his landscape business from this site. It's not a retail use. It would only be used by him and his employees. The driveway that's existing on the site has been there for about 40 years. It's immediately adjacent to a wetland, and it's lined with trees, some of which are grand, some of which are not, but it's actually a beautiful driveway. We've been going through the site plan review process. I understand that the Charleston County requirement is a 20-foot drive. This driveway is in most places about 10 to 12 feet wide. I had a meeting with Mr. David Hardwick, the Chief Fire Marshal with the St. John's Fire District. I have a letter from him. It's in your packet. He supports this request for the width as long as we maintain the height requirement. Since my client is a landscape contractor, I have every confidence he will keep those trees pruned properly for that access. We've also provided in the site plan a few fire truck turnaround points so that a fire truck never has to go very far before they have to turn around. If I weren't in front of you tonight for a variance on the driveway width, I would be coming to you for a variance on removing several grand trees. I would also be going to the Corps and OCRM for permits to fill wetlands. We don't want to fill the wetlands. We don't want to remove any trees. So that's why we're coming to you tonight for the request for the variance for the driveway width.
Did you say that to really catch our heart? Is that what you really did? I think that was your intent. Let's see if anybody has a question for
I
you.
like what I heard.
Well, Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, I just have a comment. Thank you for coming prepared. Yeah.
All right.
No, I was going to say the same thing.
Okay. Mr. Neal?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quick about the width. Go into the detail of the letter with the fire marshal. Are there any issues where the fire truck is not wide enough at all, or any areas that you're going to have to maintain based on your drawing?
No, I mean, the width of the driveway is basically the same width of the lane on Bohicket Road. So he's got plenty of horizontal width
Okay.
And it's just going through the woods. You're not going back to any buildings for,
Right.
for quite a while. And we do widen out near the buildings where we can and where we need to.
And where's the nearest fire hydrant? I saw reference to a fire hydrant.
There's one almost at the corner of the property.
Okay. The turnarounds that are for the fire truck, is that, I mean, that's not, is that gravel you're putting down, or is that?
They would all be gravel, and we're working through the site plan process. We're working through what the requirements of that gravel would be. It's probably mostly going to be 789.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else on my right? Anyone on my left has questions? Thank you for your testimony. Do we have anyone else to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else to speak in favor? I just got to look on one side. Anyone in opposition? Anyone in opposition? Very good. Closed to the public. Board members, do we have any questions of staff? We have any general discussion? So I'd like to get a motion for, yes, sir.
I'm prepared to make a motion to approve this request for a variance relating to an access drive for someone who is not going to operate a retail establishment. It's for a landscaper. This application is governed by Zelda Article 9.3. The criteria are set forth in 3.10.6, 1 through 7. They are fully stated here, and both the applicant and staff have done an extraordinarily good job. I would incorporate by reference those written responses as my findings and conclusions of law. This drive has been there for more than 40 years, or approximately 40 years. Wetlands and trees compromise an expansion. The fire department supports this application. Trees will be preserved. The environment will be preserved. This is in the best interest of the community as a whole. That's my motion, incorporating by reference the responses 1 through 7.
No, you got to go to, you got to.
If I have to state each one, I will.
Yeah.
I thought I could incorporate those by reference.
You can make it brief, but yeah.
There are exceptional, number one, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions, as I've stated, on this 4.6 acre property. The conditions do not generally apply to others. This is a unique situation. Because of these conditions, application of the ordinance, if strictly construed, would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict utilization of the property. The authorization of a variance will not be of detriment to the adjacent property or the public good. In fact, it'll be to their benefit. Number 5, the effect of this request we're not granting a variance to the effect of which would allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted. Number 6, the variance is not the result of the applicant's own actions. Using a golf term, you play them as they lie. Number 7, granting of the variance does not substantially conflict with the comprehensive plan or the purposes of the plan. That's my motion.
And the condition?
The conditions are, number 1, I would move that we accept the recommendation of staff prior to the zoning permit approval. The applicant shall complete the site plan review process.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, Mr. Brown, second. Thank you. Any discussion? All right. All those.
I appreciate Mr. Truslow's attempt to just incorporate staff's comments by reference.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye. It is unanimous. Sir, your application has been approved. We thank you. Within 10 days, you'll get information from staff letting you know the next steps in the process. Once again, congratulations and good night, sir. All right, we're getting closer. Case BZA 0725-00884.
Alrighty. The applicant and property owner, John Pearson. The property owners, Susan and Dean Brandt, represented by Andy Bajowski, of Barrier Island Engineering and Consulting are requesting a variance to encroach 2 grand trees by more than 25% of the protected root zone area for a proposed physical fitness building at 1773 Folly Road, which is TMS number 334100016 on James Island in Charleston County. The subject property and adjacent properties are located in the Folly Road Corridor Overlay Neighborhood Commercial Neighborhood Preservation Area zoning district. The property and surrounding properties were designated as the Beefield Community Historic District on May 24th, 2022. The applicant is currently in the site plan review process for the proposed physical fitness building. The 0.5 acre property is vacant and contains 7 grand trees, 3 live oaks, a 36, 40, and a 42, and 4 pecan trees, 25, 30, 32, and 35. The trees the applicant is requesting for encroachment is a 36-inch live oak for 27% encroachment, grade B, and a 40-inch live oak encroachment, 43% grade C. And that's the tree to the front, excuse me, the front and the back, respectively. This is the zoning ordinance requirements for grand tree encroachment. The overlay maps, the 300-foot radius map, aerial maps. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. This is the first tree, the 36 that's closer to the road. Again, it's 27% encroachment and a grade B tree. And 40-inch live oak encroachment, 43% grade C. Subject property and Folly Road. This plan shows existing conditions. This is the acreage exhibit. And this is the surrounding properties exhibit, tree encroachment exhibit, and parking stall grading exhibits, and then the landscape plan and plat. Regarding the approval criteria, we stated that it may meet 1 through 4 and 6 and 7, and that it meets 5. We have 3 suggested conditions if you choose to approve this application. 1, if any of the 2 trees die within up to 3 years of completion of construction, the applicant shall mitigate the DBH of each tree by either A, submitting a mitigation plan for review and approval indicating the installation of canopy trees no smaller than 2.5 inches in caliber, equaling inch per inch replacement. B, by depositing funds into the Charleston County Tree Fund as described in section 926 of the zoning ordinance, or C, a combination of both A and B. The allotted mitigation shall be in place for each tree prior to its removal. 2, tree barricades constructed of chain link fencing shall be installed around all protected trees within 40 feet of disturbance prior to any construction pursuant to section 924 of the Charleston County Zoning Land Development Regulations Ordinance. 3, the applicant shall retain a certified arborist to monitor and treat all grand trees within 40 feet of disturbance. Through duration of construction, the applicant shall provide a copy of the tree preservation plan to zoning staff for review and approval prior to zoning permit approval for construction. Questions?
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for staff? Mr. Neal, you had a question?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Working, is all of this going to be concrete, or is this going to be gravel or stuff like that for the parking area that's encroaching?
That's a good. I cannot.
Because I'm looking at exhibit on my computer.
Which one?
Page 34 of 36. The grade level seems to be a major change, which has got to be impacting those roots. And if the trees already are a sea level, they're not going to make it.
They are building what I believe is kind of like a parking garage or drive under the building for parking. I'm not sure about.
So that's going to be, that's all gone concrete. So everything.
I'm not sure about the materials. They'll have to.
That might be a great question for the applicant. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else on my right? My left? Thank you, Ms. Working. Is the applicant present? Good evening, sir. Please state your name and address for the record, and please tell us why.
And it's going to do. Good evening. My name is John Pearson. I'm my address is 3037 Penny Lane in Johns Island. I've been doing private fitness training since I graduated from the College of Charleston in 2000, so about the last 25 years. I opened up my own private training facility. We do personal training and semi-private personal training on Fleming Road. I've been there for 15 years now, and I bought this property several years ago, and I'm just trying to establish my own place and not be in a rent-paying situation anymore. I don't. To answer your question, I'm going to let Andy talk, but I don't believe any of the. There's not going to be any concrete on the ground. So, but we have been through site plan review, and I believe we've made all the possible changes we could to the plan to allow the constrictions of the site to, allow us to work within the lot based on the land restrictions and constrictions.
Okay.
Andy Bedrowski is my civil engineer, and I'll let him speak.
No.
Yeah, just wait.
Okay.
I'll give him a chance.
Okay.
We'll give him a chance. Let's see if anyone has a question for you. Is that all that you want to tell us at this particular time?
I believe so.
Okay. Anyone on my left have a question? Yes, sir, Mr. Jordan.
Did I hear you say no concrete?
Correct.
So what will it be?
Gravel.
Brought in gravel?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone on my right? Questions? Thank you so very much for your testimony, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Do we have anyone to speak in favor? The engineer? Good afternoon, sir, or good evening. Sir.
Hey, good evening. My name's Andy Bedrowski with Barrier Island Engineering. I'm the civil engineer. My address is 759 Folly Road, Charleston.
Thank you.
So just to address one of the staff comments already, I do have the tree preservation plan from the arborist that we received last week. I have enough copies for everybody if you'd like to see it now.
Mr. Harry, would you take that? Thank you, sir. Continue.
Going through some of the exhibits that we provided, if we switch back to the colorized exhibit on the acreage.
Which page? Thank you.
So what we've hatched out here in red is the required landscape buffers on Folly Road on the front side. That's the right-hand side of this plan. The 12.5-foot landscape buffers on north and south, and then a 10-foot rear landscape buffer on the left-hand side. The remaining kind of semicircle areas are all of the overlapping tree canopies for grand trees on the site. So if we look at the total acreage of the site, it's 0.5 acres. The unencumbered developable area of this site outside of all these tree canopies is 0.11 acres, which is only 21% of the total half acre. And then if we look at the next exhibit, as far as the surrounding character and encumbrances on adjacent properties, so this is the aerial exhibit with the property highlighted with the red rectangle, and then the green hatch to the lower and left side of our property is the wetland GIS data from the National Wetland Inventory. So as you can see in the tree cover from the aerial, this is really the only property in this immediate vicinity that has this substantial amount of tree cover. The remaining areas behind us that have similar tree cover all incorporate quite a bit of wetlands and are, for all intents and purposes, undevelopable anyways. Then we can go to this tree encroachment exhibit. To answer the questions about the surface type, the driveway and all of the parking stalls, with the exception of the one ADA space, are all gravel surfaces. That dark dashed line at the rear of the property above the parking is the rain garden that we've incorporated to meet the stormwater requirements for the county.
I wonder what that was.
So all of the reason that you're seeing the fill in the profile of the encroachment is that all of our stormwater sheet flows from north to south to the center line of this driveway and then to the rear of the property up into the rain garden. There is no pipe installation. There's no trenching in any of these tree canopies for stormwater infrastructure. The only impervious surface in the 36-inch tree at the front is a 4-foot concrete sidewalk for ADA access that's required from the right-of-way. And then the canopy at the rear for the larger tree does include the ADA space, a corner of the building, and then a portion of the remaining gravel drive aisle. That canopy coverage is so large, given the width of the site, it does include more than just the gravel parking. The building itself is 2.5 stories. It's actually offset. So the dashed line that's over the drive aisle is a drive under. We do have a letter from the fire marshal approving the fire access to the building, given the drive under. We had to go with the drive under design so that we could accommodate the parking behind the front face of the building as required in the ZLDR. If too much of our parking is in front of the front face of the building, we would be here for a variance to have parking between our building and the street. I'll also point out the parking, the 2 parking stalls in the 36-inch live oak at the front. Those are both compact spaces that shortens the distance or minimizes the distance to the trunk of that tree, and that's maximized at the maximum allowable percentage given the total parking supply.
Okay. All right, let's see. Very good. Very good. Let's see if we have a question here. Mr. Neal?
Yeah, it looks like the total square footage of the building is driving the parking, unless I'm wrong. So why are we at a 3,000 square foot building? What's the need for, I mean, I don't think you could save a lot of spaces, but I mean, you have so many spaces that are in this area of the tree canopy, especially with the rain garden. The rain garden could go somewhere else. I'm just wondering, is there something driving why you need 3,000 square feet for a personal training center?
Yes, sir. I mean,
or are we just trying to maximize the size? I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just trying to understand. It looks like you got a lot thrown in here, and that's why you're in underneath the canopies. I can't believe you can get this much done without this encroachment. So I think anything that gets developed on this property is going to have some type of variance. I'm just trying to understand the thought process.
We've actually worked Mr. Pearson down from his original hope of more square footage on this site. 3,000 is the minimum threshold for the use. That also includes the necessary storage areas. So there's some areas within the floor plan that include storage for sanitizing and material storage, all that sort of stuff. Equipment storage for equipment that is currently out of commission or outdated, being phased out, that's outdated.
I got you. Did you look at anything for, sorry, I have one more question, Mr. Chair, if that's right. The grade level of the driveway of the, I think there's, using your exhibit, it was the last 34 of 36 in our package, I think, showed the grade level of the current grade level versus the finished grade level looked like a substantial difference, which is really going to impact that one tree. And I was just wondering, do we need a tree well there, or is it just, we're going to kill that tree? I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just probably going to impact this tree within 2 to 3 years, which you're going to have to mitigate and pay for anyway.
We could certainly consider a tree well. We tried to complete as much as this without any sort of structural measures.
Right, I understand.
That have been required.
It just looks like a high grade change.
It is, and what's driving that is trying to get all our stormwater to the rear of the site and into that wetland without having to also install pipe, run pipe underneath the drive under of the building, which becomes a major maintenance liability in the future if we've got stormwater problems underneath the building.
I mean, is it your opinion that you think that tree, the one tree on the left of that site plan is probably not going to make it?
I'm not a certified arborist. I'm a civil
Neither
engineer.
am I.
So that's why we've worked with
Right.
Danny Milliman to
understand.
make that determination for us.
Great answer. I'm good, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
I got a question for you. During construction, how are you going to work with the canopy of these trees that are overlapping in that footprint?
So in the original arborist report, which should be in here also. I'll just read it to you rather than waste time.
I don't have it. Is it in there?
Okay, so tree number 2 in the arborist report is the 36-inch live oak at the front of the property. And the arborist suggested that it has 3 major leaders making up the canopy, and that pruning may be done for access to one side of the tree to lift lower limbs for overhead clearance. So he's already recommending pruning here to try to help maintain the health of that tree. And then the
40 is a C.
The 40-inch tree is tree number 7 on our report. And he states it has some larger, lower dead limbs in the canopy that need to be pruned. And the dieback is from lack of sunlight to lower limbs. So overall, for the health of these trees, I mean, it needs pruning to thin this out and get some sunlight to the trees that are remaining to start with.
Okay. Anyone on my left? Ms. Brooks, maybe I've overlooked it, but maybe I didn't see it here. The conditions for those trees, the mitigation for those trees, did I miss it?
It's in the staff. It's in the staff's suggestions or requirements. If it dies within 2 to 3 years,
correct.
They got to mitigate.
I found it now. Thank you.
The tree's going to die.
Okay. Anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Thank you, sir, for your testimony. Thank you, Ms. Brooks. I just couldn't find it. All right. Do we have anyone else to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak in opposition? Very good. It's closed to the public. Board members, do we have any questions of staff?
I've got one just from Ms. Brooks. So I'm back on the tree grade, that grade level. I mean, is there any other thing that is warranted to try or anything like that? Is a tree well around moving that one parking spot or anything like that? Or is it just it's a roll the dice?
I don't like tree wells that much anyway, because with the wall they'll have to trench in. That the construction of that isn't
would do more
that
impact.
much. Yeah, isn't that much different to me. Yeah, I mean there are just a lot of grand trees on this property, and I know we've worked with them for a while to try and come up with the best solution. I don't know what the answer is, other than.
I mean, it's 76 inches. Sorry to interrupt. 76 inches. If both of the trees die, they're going to put a lot of trees back, or they're going to donate a lot of money to the tree bank.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's warranted to. It's a warranted plan from my standpoint. But I didn't know if there's any other options that are worth taking that you wanted to go down another alternative route.
Well, luckily they have Arbor Care working with them on this. They're a reputable company in the area, so and they're doing the pervious parking. They've shifted things around and tried to minimize as much as possible. I don't know really what else we can do.
The
other
ADA
than,
requirement has to be concrete. I mean, or asphalt. The ADA
a solid
parking space?
surface, yeah. So it would need to be something, even if it was compacted. So, I mean, let's see where the space is.
'Cause that's so close to that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, they could consider moving it to the other side, to the front of the building or something instead. It looks like, there's some steps there that would definitely change their, I don't know as much about the interior layout of the building, how that would affect like the access that they have planned for that.
Okay.
The tree, the tree in the back is graded a little worse than the tree in the front.
That's the C.
So,
The other one's a B,
yeah.
right? The 36
Right.
inches is a B, and the one in the back is a C. That answers my question, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? General discussion? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need a motion to approve or deny. Yes, sir.
Slidell's ready to go.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we, in the case of BZA 725-00884, that we approve this request for a variance. I find that meets all 7 criteria for such a variance. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to this property. I think we could see from the overhead shot that this is a heavily forested area and with a lot of grand trees. The testimony has outlined the very small buildable space that's not encumbered by either setbacks or tree canopy requirements. The conditions do not apply to other properties in the vicinity. I think it's very clear from the aerial again that tree cover in the other adjoining properties does not extend to the same level as this property. Unnecessary prohibits restrict the use of the property. I think the applicant made a very compelling argument that the actual building area, again, is very small, taking considerations of restrictions. The variances will not be a substantial detriment to the adjacent property owners. It meets that requirement. It will not establish a use that's not permitted in the zoning district. The need for the variance is not a result of the applicant's actions, but in fact is the nature of the property itself. And it will not substantially conflict with the comprehensive plan. This motion is made with the conditions of staff that if the trees die, then there is a mitigation plan in place. And I also will just mention that the sea level tree is the one that's encroached on the most, and a great effort has been made clearly from the plans, and arborists have been contracted to limit and minimize the damage to trees on the property.
Second.
So we have a motion that's been it's been properly moved and second. Who seconded it? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raising your right hand.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous. Sir, your application has been approved. Within 10 days, you'll be getting information from staff letting you know the next steps in the process. Once again, congratulations and good night. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Last one. Case BZA 07-25 00885 886 887.
And Mr. Seidel is recusing himself from these cases. So I told him he can go home.
Good night.
All righty. The applicant, Ryan Buck of 3517 Maybank Highway LLC, represented by Andy Bajowski of Barrier Island Engineering and Consulting, is requesting a special exception for the sale of alcoholic beverages on site, beer, wine, and liquor, for a proposed restaurant in the Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Limited Commercial Zoning District at 3517 Maybank Highway, which is TMS number 27900000168 on Johns Island in Charleston County. The subject property and properties to the east and south are located in the Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Limited Commercial Zoning District. Properties to the north and west are located in the city of Charleston's jurisdiction. The approximately 3-acre subject property is located at the corner of Maybank Highway and Stanley Drive. The property contains a residence that will be demolished for a proposed mixed-use development consisting of office, retail, a restaurant, and a grocery store. The proposed development project is currently going through the site plan review process. In addition to the special exception, the applicant is requesting 2 variances. One, 00886 is a variance request to remove a 28-inch DBH Grand Live Oak tree, and 2, which is case 00887, a variance request to eliminate the required 25-foot lane use buffer along the western property line for a proposed mixed-use development. This is the zoning ordinance requirement for the special exception for alcohol sales. Overlay maps, 300-foot radius map, aerials. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. Stanley Drive and Maybank Highway. This is a survey of the property, the site plan, and this is an exhibit they provided showing other restaurants that sell alcohol in the area. Plat. Regarding the 6 special exception criteria, we stated that it may meet 1 through 6. We did receive 1 public comment in opposition. Oh, sorry. I thought I was done. The board may approve of conditions or deny the request based on the BZA's finding of fact unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board decides to approve the application, we have 2 conditions we're recommending. 1, prior to zoning permit approval, the applicant shall complete the site plan review process, and 2, the applicant shall meet all requirements of the state of South Carolina for alcoholic beverage sales and provides proof of state approval to zoning and planning staff prior to zoning permit approval for the use. Not bad.
Okay. Any questions of staff? Okay. Thank you again, Ms. Working. Outstanding job. Well, I tell you, we've got a winner staff here. All right. Is the applicant present? Okay. You going to speak for the applicant this time? Okay. So please state your name and address for the record again for me, please, sir.
Andy Bajowski with Barrier Island Engineering, 759 Folly Road, Charleston. Are we...
So we're going to try to address all 3.
All at one time?
We're going to do the special exception first.
Well, okay, yeah.
And the 2 variances together.
Yeah.
Addressing the special exception first, we put together an exhibit that should be in the packets. It's an overlay with the aerial image of the GIS data up and down Maybank Highway. I've since gone back and highlighted 5 restaurants with alcohol sales that are all within 500 feet of residences or residentially zoned property that are within the same limited commercial zoning of the overlay district. On top of that, there's another 12 restaurants in addition to those first 5 that are within the overlay, although they're in the mixed use, but still within Maybank corridor and still within 500 feet of a residentially zoned or residentially used property. The proposed restaurant here is actually a section of a small grocer. It's El Molino is the potential tenant. That's a counter service food service within the grocery store that takes up a portion of that building. We're not talking about a bar or sports bar here. El Molino also just opened a similar concept on Maybank, just up the road, pretty much right next to Wild Olive, also within 500 feet of residentially zoned properties. That was previously a different restaurant, same concept. So I'm not sure if that alcohol sales special exception carried with the property, or if they had to come in separately. We weren't involved in that one. As far as do we want to talk about the remaining variances or just the special exception?
No, let's stay on the special exception.
Okay. That's all I got.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for him on the special exception? Yes, sir, Mr. Neal.
I know that for alcohol licensing, there's restrictions based on how close you are to a church. Are there any restrictions being close to this school? And are you looking at any fencing or anything like that, since it backs up to this, look like Hot Gap Middle School?
Hot Gap.
There's privacy fencing all along the rear of the property. There's a power line easement on the west side of the property that we are not intending to fence right now. And then the right side of the property has right-of-way that we're dedicating to the county and an 8-foot land use buffer. So there will be no fencing on that right-of-way line as of now. Just
so is there any way to isolate this property away from the school area so that there wouldn't be direct access from the school directly into this complex?
The school property doesn't directly connect to it currently. It's there is a right-of-way that goes back there. But
if you go through the right-of-way of the SCE&G or whatever that right-of-way is, that connects to the school, doesn't it? Or am I mistaken? I agree. Your property doesn't, but
it's a ways
connection.
back there. It's a ways back there.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because in your own exhibit, the school's right there. That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, really, it's just a special exception we're approving, which is
right.
Should be easy.
I think in reality, going back here and walking this road and this power line, it's really not much of a road. It's a single lane dirt driveway, basically for residences that are back there.
But you're saying the left side of this property in the map that I'm looking at down here, I imagine it's behind me, you're not putting any fencing on that side of the property?
No, we're not.
Would you consider it?
Sure.
Just trying to isolate it if it's needed. That's just me thinking. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We do, to answer that question, we do have some grand trees on that left side that may inhibit some sections of fencing, but certainly could consider fencing it as much as feasibly possible without another variance request.
I'll just make one note. I'll get to you, Mr. Brown, to add on to what you're saying. I used to own several homes over in that area, and that is a walkable neighborhood and community. So a lot of people are walking over in that neighborhood, just to be short. I'm going to come to Mr. Brown, and I'm going to get this other side, okay?
I just wanted some clarification on that left side of, I'm looking at the kind of site plan showing the parking and everything. There's a retaining wall along that left side of the parking. Can you try to find it, but can you tell me how tall that is or how high that is from the adjacent grade?
It varies from 12 inches to 24 inches.
Okay, so it's not taller than that. Gotcha.
Okay. Thank you. I saw the lady's hand next.
I don't know if this is a question as much as it is a comment, but it could be nice to be able to walk to a third place in your neighborhood and not have to get into a car and drive after having a beer. So I think, I don't know. I guess that's just more of a comment.
Good comment. Yes, sir. Mr. Jordan.
Your property?
No, sir.
Not at all.
No.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for this applicant? Thank you so very much for your testimony.
Yes, sir.
On this special exception, do we have anyone else to speak in favor?
Oh, is he speaking?
Yep. You're speaking in favor of this application, correct? Yes, sir.
I'm Kip Bowman. Address is 3506 West Montague. It's the address of my company. My residence is at 5265 Kinco Lane in Young's Island. I am one of the owners of Coldwell Banker Commercial, and I represent the client that's actually doing the development here. I just wanted to clarify one point, is the power line easement that comes back through there, there is a primary residence back there on the back side of that. So that easement doesn't go all the way into, even though the power lines go through there. So just a note on that, on the way it's configured. That's all on this.
One moment. Do we have any questions on the left? Thank you for your testimony, sir. Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Very good. On this special exception, this case is closed. All right. Board members, any questions for staff?
No, I'm ready.
Any discussion? I need a motion to approve it.
Mr. Chair, I will make a motion to approve case BZA 0725000885, a special exception request for the sale of alcohol beverages on site. I see that it meets all 6 of the approval criteria for special exceptions. Criteria number 1 is consistent with the recommendations contained in the comp plan and the character of the base zoning district. This is a mixed-use area. One of our commissioners has made a comment of it'd be nice to be able to walk to these areas. It does back up to a power easement. There is a school in the neighborhood, but this is not. I don't see it being any issues whatsoever. It's consistent with the recommendations of the comp plan. Criteria number 2 is compatible with existing uses in the vicinity and will not adversely affect the general welfare of the community. Nobody's here to say anything against us. I don't have any problems with, I believe it meets the criteria. Number 3 criteria, adequate provision is being made for such items as setbacks and buffering, including fences. Their layout has got everything been submitted. There should be no issues for the school, surrounding areas, residential. The exhibit that was supplied by the applicant with the various alcohol permitted businesses in close proximity to residential neighborhoods. This is within the same character. Criteria number 4, where applicable, will be developed in a way that will preserve and incorporate any important natural features. This is very much same as the first. When they got rid of the residential, they're making a mixed-use parcel that's not completely, well, it's not really mixed-use, excuse me, it's multi-use businesses, but it's the lower end of the zoning. Is that correct, Ms. Working? In it? Well, it's residential commercial, the neighborhood commercial, isn't it?
Limited commercial.
Limited commercial,
Yeah.
excuse me. So it's the lower end zoning. So I believe that meets the criteria. Criteria number 5 complies with all applicable rules, regulations of the zoning district, site plan review requirements. Everything's been submitted. We don't see any issues for criteria number 5. And it's not hinder, danger, vehicular, traffic, and pedestrian movement. Maybank is a very crowded road, but this is on the side road coming into it. I don't see any issues whatsoever. I would make sure we include the additional criteria set in staff comments. Part of my motion.
Okay, we have a motion that has been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye, aye, aye. It is unanimous. That does pass. All righty. So let's go into 86
these two
and
together.
87.
All right. The applicant Ryan Buck of 3517 Maybank Highway LLC, represented by Andy Bajowski of Barrier Island Engineering and Consulting, is requesting 2 variances for a proposed mixed-use development at 3517 Maybank Highway, which is TMS number 27900000168 on Johns Island in Charleston County. The subject properties and properties to the east and south are located in the Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Limited Commercial Zoning District. Properties to the north and west are located in the City of Charleston's jurisdiction. More specifically, the applicant is requesting 2 variances as follows. Ending in 00886, variance request to remove a 28-inch DBH grand live oak tree. And 00887, variance request to eliminate the required 25-foot land use buffer along the western property boundary for a proposed mixed-use development. In addition to the variances, the applicant is requesting a special exception. You already got that. And the approximately 3-acre subject property is located at the corner of Maybank Highway, Stanley Drive. Property contains a residence that will be demolished for a proposed mixed-use development consisting of office, retail, restaurant, and a grocery store. The proposed development project is currently going through the site plan review process. This is the grand tree requirement, and then the buffer requirements, the overlay maps, 300-foot radius map, aerial maps. We posted the property on August 19th, 2025. This is the tree, the 28-inch tree that they plan to remove. And then just this additional property, pictures of the property. Survey, site plan, grand tree exhibit. They also provided landscape buffer exhibit plat. Regarding the 7 approval criteria, we stated that it may meet 1, 3, 4, 6, and 7, and then it meets 2 and 5. There were 3 public comments in opposition. The board may approve approval conditions or deny these requests based on the board's findings of fact unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board decides to approve the application, staff recommends the following conditions. 1, prior to zoning permit approval, the applicant shall complete the site plan review process. 2, the applicant shall mitigate the removal of the 28-inch DBH inches by either A, submitting a mitigation plan for review and approval indicating the installation of canopy trees no smaller than 2.5 inches in caliber, equaling inch-per-inch replacement. B, by depositing funds into the Charleston County Tree Fund as described in Section 926 of ZELDAR, or C, a combination of both A and B. The allotted mitigation shall be in place prior to its removal. 3, tree barricades constructed of chain link fencing shall be installed around all protected trees within 40 feet of disturbance prior to any construction pursuant to Section 924 of the ordinance. 4, the applicant shall retain a certified arborist to monitor and treat all grand trees within 40 feet of disturbance through the duration of construction. The applicant shall provide a copy of the tree preservation plan to zoning staff for review and approval prior to zoning permit approval for construction. Questions?
All right, do we have any questions of staff? Yes, sir. Mr. Nelson.
Ms. Working, in the arborist report, this is tree 11, correct?
I believe so. Did I have that in my notes?
That might be a better question for Ms. Brooks.
Yeah, because I can't see these.
If I'm reading this correctly, Mr. Millman stated if this were his property, he would propose removing the tree?
Tree 11.
Okay.
It's very dark, but it's on there.
All right, and so it's been pruned over the years because of the power line right away that's adjacent to, correct? All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Workin. All right. Name and address, please, sir.
Andy Bajowski with Barrier Island Engineering, 759 Folly Road, Charleston. I'll also start again on this project. We've continued to work on the landscape plan since the BZA submittal was made, as well as the tree preservation plan, so I have copies of that as well.
Thank you. Oh, boy.
Look at all this homework they keep giving me.
I'm just trying to wear you out and get rid of me.
Good. Good job of it.
So what's currently in your hand is the revised landscape plan. We received site plan review comments maybe a day before the BZA submittal deadline. Since then, we've addressed the landscape plan. That plan, I've highlighted 6 mitigation trees to be planted back, and the note in the top that those are to be 6-inch live oaks. So that's 36 inches to be replanted for the potential removal here of the tree in question, which is tree number 11 for sure. On this plan, it's a 28-inch oak tree. There's a cluster of 3 oak trees in close proximity, tree 11, tree 12, and then an 18-inch live oak that is between the two. As you can see in the arborist report for tree 11, there's a picture of this tree with a giant L-shaped trimming, I guess you could call that, by the power company. The more recent picture in the staff report shows it even more extreme, that the lower branches have since been removed. This tree is entirely now one-sided. This is also, to clarify, a separate power line from the one that's down the west property boundary. Power line down the west property boundary is a transmission line that runs all the way out to Kiowa. This power line that has caused this trimming of tree number 11 is a service line that also serves 2 of the residences immediately behind us. And in our layout for the site plan, following Danny Milliman's recommendations and seeing the extent of the trimming on this tree, we're proposing that removal, but instead to keep the 18-inch tree that's a little bit further away from the power line and currently in better health. And then in addition, for the removal of this 28-inch tree to plant back the mitigation trees on the landscape plan. The arborist has been out to this site twice. This originally started in 2022. That was his first site visit in the original report. He revisited the site again in 2024 to verify all the tree grades and also complete the recommendation for preservation for the remaining trees. And at that time, he re-verified that all the grades from 2022 remained. In the larger picture of this site plan, we started this in about 2022. We have had extensive meetings dating back 2 to 3 years now with Charleston County staff, City of Charleston staff, and SCDOT staff regarding the main road corridor improvement project and segment C, which encompasses some of this area around the schools in this intersection of Main and Maybank. One of the alternatives for the main road corridor overlay includes some collector road improvements perpendicular to Maybank, one of which was originally the Stanley Drive. There's 2 Stanley Drives. One was originally the Stanley Drive on the left-hand side of the site. We met extensively with DOT to determine that that Stanley Drive was not feasibly constructed due to alignment with Hayes Park across the street, and came up with the plan to improve the Stanley Drive on the right-hand side, which does align with the driveway immediately across Maybank Highway. So as part of that, we are dedicating a little over 11,000 square feet of right-of-way area off the right-hand side of the property to establish a 50-foot right-of-way for Stanley Drive. As part of potential future phase of this development, we would be improving the section adjacent to our property out to Maybank. And as a result of that, that shifts all of our development to the west slightly as we're encroaching our own property boundary here, interior to the site. The power line on the left-hand side of the site that kind of reverberates across the site into the buffer required on the west side. That power line easement on the west side is on the property boundary. In that case, we have to apply the landscape buffer off of the easement line and not the property line per the ZLDR.
Mr. Chair, I've got to interrupt. I'm looking at an application for one tree. I've got paperwork for 2 trees, and I can't understand. I am completely lost. Now, if I'm the only one that's completely lost, or we're not falling asleep, but he's talking about stuff that I'm trying to understand, and I've not heard one thing mentioned about a 28-inch oak tree, and I've got a supplemental on 2 different trees that we're on. So I need some direction on what we're on because we're just wasting time here. I can't understand a single thing.
The tree that's being removed has got an X on it. It's near this entranceway.
I know, but he gave us this report, and we're talking about access points, and there's only one tree that he's here to talk about. And we're talking about, so I'm lost. So I need
There's
I
2
need some
trees
direction.
we're talking about.
But the application is for 1 tree, a 28-inch.
This is a care plan for 2 other trees, right?
The application is for
I
1
ain't
tree,
looked at this.
28-inch. I just need some direction on it.
I haven't even looked at this. I was looking at the plan.
So
Go ahead.
the supplement I provided is a care plan for the remaining grand trees on site. We can't provide a care plan for a grand tree that we're going to take out or that we're proposing to take out.
Well, I got a lot of questions about the 28 tree that's on the application. I don't really care about the secondary stuff. But anyway,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sorry for interrupting, Mr. Chair. I apologize.
No. Go ahead.
My apologies, because I thought we were also discussing the buffer reduction.
You
So
are.
I'm glad to pause on just the tree for discussion.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're voting separately, so just have them talk about the tree.
All right, let's talk about the tree. Continue talking about the tree.
I covered that at the start. I don't have anything else to add. It's been.
But you don't have anything to add about the tree?
It's been completely butchered by the power company. The staff report picture clearly shows that it's one-sided. And in exchange for removing this, we are already proposing mitigation of 36 inches of live oaks being planted back.
I didn't realize we were doing just the one.
Any questions about the tree, the 28-inch DBA tree for this applicant? Any questions about that? Okay. We only, is it just anybody behind him? No?
No.
All right, just those 2 that were.
Should we separate these instead
Yeah,
of?
we're going to separate them. Thank you for asking that. So there's nobody else in this room.
Anyone else that asks?
All right. He's coming forward. Yes, you want to say something in support?
It's Kip Bowman, 3506 West Montague Avenue. I just wanted to come back up and just say I support this.
Thank you.
Has
Thank
been
you, Mr.
stated.
Pope.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody? There's nobody else. I see the young lady back there. You're not going to use support too. All right. So there's no other opposition in here. Case closed to the public. Guys, do you have any, and ladies, do you have any questions of staff? Any general discussion? I need a motion to approve or deny. 886. Anyone?
Doing one at a time, or?
Yes, yes, please. Yeah. I said all together, but we need to do them one at a time.
I had already planned to do them all together, so.
Well, you can take both of them, so let's just do 886 first. Mr. Brown?
All right. In case BZA 0725000886, I propose that we approve the variance request to remove the 28-inch grand live oak tree. I believe it meets all 7 of the approval criteria stated in our Article 310. Number 1, are there extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to this particular piece of property with this tree? Yes, the tree pruning and the overhead power lines have obviously affected the condition of that tree to its detriment. Number two is sort of the same thing. We've got the power easements and the overhead power line in that area, and this doesn't necessarily apply to other properties in the vicinity. Because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance, in a particular piece of property, it would effectively prohibit, they'd have to make drastic changes to the site plan and utilization of the property. Authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property. It's in keeping with surrounding properties. There's already a lot of trees and other things that they're saving on the property as well. Number five, Board of Zoning Appeals shall not grant a variance which would allow establishment of use not otherwise permitted in the district. And all of that. I think all that's covered in number five. Everything is permitted. Number six, the need for the variance is not the result of the applicant's own actions. I believe everything's has already been in place for a number of years concerning that tree. And granting the variance does not substantially conflict with the comprehensive plan. So I think we're all good.
And the conditions?
Oh, and yeah, all the staff recommendations, 1 through 4.
All right, is it? Okay, Ms. Smith, I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. It's unanimous. Very good. That's one down. Let's go into 887. So I know you said, come on back up. I know you said a lot, but just try to summarize why we should approve 887.
We'll keep this really simple. There's a very large transmission line easement on the west property boundary. It is about 35 feet into the property. If we apply another 25-foot landscape buffer on top of that, we've got quite an extreme encroachment within our property. That was something we did not plat that easement. It's an existing easement we were dealt with when we started this project.
Okay. Let's see if anyone has a question. Anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Mr. Neal?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you for your time. And you're going to come and tell me you're supporting it?
You got to do it on the record.
Kip Bowman, 3506 West Montague. Again, thank y'all for your time. It's been a long evening. Just to add to this, we have coordinated extensively with Charleston County here. I've met with Joel Evans a couple of times, with the city, his city's counterpart, and DOT and the school district as well. The goal here was, because we have those residential lots behind here, all of us looked at this as far as what was best for the community at large in trying to accommodate the school in the future. What that would look like would be this road connecting eventually to the school, taking the school bus traffic and the other traffic off of Maybank and Main Road intersection and bringing it here. So with that, part of what we could have done here is we were looking at, well, is it just fair to us to give up the full 50 feet on our side when there's other properties there on the other side that could participate as well? So without going through a lot of wrangling, we decided to give up that full 50 feet on our side, which is this side that Andy referenced. And then when you look at the other side with the power line and the other encroachment coming the other way, you can see how the site gets tight very quickly. Thank you for your time.
Oh, no. Hold on. Since you want to say something, I got a question for you.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Take the question.
So, it is unrelated to this buffer, but I had to ask, and it's just a curiosity in me. You're going to have a real estate in that proposed 4-unit building to the west side, I believe it is. You have a real estate office that's going to be in there, right?
No. We are not now. There was somebody that was looking to do a real estate office in there. That is no longer the case.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we have is we have a home furnishings group that's in there. right now a gym, and then you were given the other use, which was Molino. They're going to occupy 4,000 square feet for their grocery store and ice cream shop, and the other 2,000 would be their restaurant. And that's that would be the use for the alcohol, and it would be a sit-down use there. They're not doing alcohol sales.
What kind of ice cream company is this?
It's Molino's. If you've ever had it, it's fantastic. It's Hispanic ice cream. I highly recommend it. So they have a couple of locations all over.
Okay.
Yep. One in North Charleston, real close to my office.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think you can have a seat at this time.
Oh, thank you. All right.
All right. There's no one that's going to be here in opposition, so this case is closed to the public. All right. Does anybody want to take any questions? Any general questions of staff? Any discussion? Anybody want to take a stab at getting this done for us tonight?
Mr. Brown's
Mr. Brown's been. You on a roll?
Oh, I'm on a roll, let me tell you. All right, I move for approval, or I make a motion for an approval of considering case BZA 0725000887, and their variance request to eliminate the 25-foot land use buffer. I feel that it meets all 7 requirements. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the number of setbacks and easements and landscape buffers required by county and power lines. Number 2, these particular conditions do not generally apply to other properties in the vicinity. Number 3, because of the conditions, as basically stated above, that would limit the max use of the property. Number 4, the authorization of the variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent properties. The surrounding properties have been affected already, along with there still be a significant amount of vegetation left as a buffer on all sides. Number 5, let's see. The Board of Zoning shall not grant a variance that in effect would allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted. Everything is permitted within this zoning district. Number 6, the need for the variance is not the result of the applicant's own actions. These are already all established setbacks and easements. And number 7, granting of the variance does not substantially conflict with the comprehensive plan. I think it covered everything.
And
all that and all the staff's recommendations.
There you go. Very good.
Do I have a second? Guys, come on, give me 1 second here.
All right, I'll second this one, okay? All right. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. Guess what? You got a lot of things approved tonight.
Still got number 1.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So,
Motion to defer.
yes. So your application has been approved. Within 10 days, you'll be getting information from staff letting you know the next steps in the process. Thank you and good night. I don't see that first applicant. There's nobody else in here.
And I emailed them and I said, if they could come show up. I haven't heard anything back, so.
Okay. Well, we gave them benefit of the doubt to show up, so.
So do we have to deny it?
No. You can defer it.
We can defer to it. Well, yeah. That'd be the wise thing to do.
Motion for deferral?
Okay. You made the motion. Mr. Jordan seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Approved.
We have 10 new business cases. They're all 10 separate cases, no combines. So we had to start today at 5 because of Planning Commission. Do you guys want to start at 4?
That would help.
Yes? Okay. Okay.
Get here when we can.
And then just a reminder on training, you have until the beginning of the year. And then if anyone wants to, I think most of you guys are more comfortable just doing the training on your own. But if you would like to set up a time with me, Mr. Jordan, just let me know. Yes.
Send me a link of a couple of options, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm sending that out. I'll be sending out this week.
All right. Anything else, folks?
It's a 6-hour, I sent you the link. It's a 6-hour orientation. Yeah. It's a municipal association.
Yes, sir. So just to be clear, 4 o'clock for the next meeting in October?
Yes.
Anything else, Ms. Workin?
That's it.
Ms. Clark? Mr. Hare? Ms. Brooks?
Welcome, Mr. Hare.
Yes, welcome. So what happened to Mr. Foster?
I apologize. We would like to introduce our new BZA staff member, Cole Hare. He's going to be our STR expert.
Okay. All right, good.
Get ready, Mr. Neal. Get ready.
Means adjourned.
Hey, I settled with that girl.